Women Made Whole. I am Fancy, the award-winning editor-in-chief of Swagger Magazine, and I'm just stopping in for a quick second to introduce you all to the event MC, as well as just to share a little bit about Black Women Made Whole and just kind of what inspired it. And really, the name itself, Black Women Made Whole, kind of came to me in spirit one day, while I'm just trying to think of uh, something that I could put together to display my clients, the Swagger Magazine public relations clients. But when the name hit me, it just, I don't know, it just kind of all came together. Like it all made sense because all of our clients, their brands align with the whole wellness aspect of things, and that is what this is. It is a wellness experience, as I call it. We just finished up our networking session for those who were able to join us in the lounge area. And now we will begin our presentations. Um, I would like to take one quick second and let you all know that you can view the event on Facebook. If you have any friends who you want to tell to tune in and join, then I invite you to tell them to check out the Swagger page so that they can see the live event there. Um, I'm trying to make certain that I can even see the live event there. If you are watching from the Facebook page, oh, I don't think we'll be able to see your comments in here. Yes, I can see a sign. Okay, so we're on. So we're live, y'all. All right, so let me tell you all about the lady that I'm bringing to the stage. She is a Swagger Magazine client, of course, but she is also a good friend and business partner. I'm very excited to have her with us, and just she is a woman of God. So let me share about Lady Tiffany Nicole. Lady Tiffany Nicole is a media magnet called to help entrepreneurs cultivate their gifts and penetrate their market through ministry of TV and radio. A woman sold out for God, she has devoted her life to uplift, encourage, and support all who cross her path. Lady Tiffany Nicole is a licensed minister and has been preaching the gospel since 2011. Through her gift of personality, she has become the premier kingdom personality to help promote entrepreneurs, small businesses, authors, and etc. through her international media brand, the Virtuous Hour Media and Marketing LLC. So I'm now gonna go ahead on and bring Lady Tiffany on stage for you guys so that she can open the event with a prayer. As this is like what we call a wellness experience, but it's also a healing experience. And I thought that prayer was very important to incorporate into the event. So Lady Tiffany is going to open us with a prayer, and then she's also going to introduce the next segments. So let me bring her in.
Great.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Fancy, for that warm welcome and introduction. It's always interesting to hear all of that as well as read it. But I'm thankful to be here this afternoon and to greet all of you awesome, amazing, beautiful queens this evening for Black Women Made Whole. I am your girl, your homie, your sister from around the way, Lady Tiffany Nicole, and I am your MC this evening. We have an amazing um, session for us today. But before we get into the nitty gritty, let's go to the throne of grace. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you could, bow your head in solidarity as we go to the throne of grace. Dear most heavenly gracious Father, we come to you thanking you this afternoon for this day that you have made and that we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to connect and gather our thoughts together as a collective community of your daughters, women, wherever we are on our journey to healing or wholeness, completeness. We're thankful to be in a safe community of other women, your daughters, to communicate, to share, to support, and uplift each other in this moment. Dear God, we thank you for Swag Her Magazine and the heart of Fancy, the vision that you've given her for this event. That though it is Women's History Month, that she thought so much of us, all women in our culture, to connect and talk about the things that we're living through, that we're pressing through, that we're living through. So, God, I pray that each person that is connected locally, here virtually on this platform, as well on the Facebook Live, that their hearts are open to receive from you, that they're honest with you first about where they are in their journey, and that they are able to receive from the many different women that will be sharing on this platform tonight. God, we ask that your Holy Spirit come into this opportunity, that you touch us where we may be hurting. Some of us may have secret issues that we need healing from. I pray that you touch that area tonight and that we be made whole. Dear God, as we journey through this conversation together, I pray that there's no spirit of offense, that everyone removes a spirit of judgment, because we all have sinned and come short of your glory, and we have not made it yet. Again, God, we thank you for this opportunity to be free in your presence and to share with other sisters as we journey to wholeness tonight. It's in Yeshua's name I pray. Amen. Wow. So we are excited. I want to acknowledge some of the people here. Thank you, Nicole Franklin. Here tonight, of course, myself and Fancy. Sharice, Talina Scott, thank you for joining us tonight. Um, and I'm looking in the comments here. I'm also connected on Facebook. So I want to say hello to some of our live Facebook audience as well. LaDonna Marie, thanks for chiming in and sharing. Ashley Greer, thank you so much for chiming in and sharing and tagging your sisters. Lanisha Falls, good afternoon. AWM, how's it going? Thank you so much. Make sure you share this broadcast and invite some of your other sister friends. It's Wednesday. It's Wind Down Wednesday. What other way to wind down with some wine, get you some snacks? We have some amazing ladies that have joined tonight to share in helping us become whole, where we are in our journey. And I'm excited about tonight. Again, special thanks to Swag Her Magazine for putting on this amazing, amazing event. And we have a sponsor. This event, give you a little bit about it. Black women, are you ready to be made whole? Who's ready? Stop in the comments here on our virtual platform as well in Facebook. I want you to comment, I am ready. Who's ready to be made whole? You'll be surprised at how you think you're whole, but there's always a little something missing. So I'm excited to be able to share that. So Swagger is asking us tonight, Black women, are you ready to be made whole? This is a wellness experience that is produced by Swagger Magazine and sponsored by IMAT Dream Brand. We're going to be talking about all the things to help replenish you. Yes, I know it's March 15th, 2023, but if your life has been a bit like mine, baby, the enemy has already tried it. There's already been some things thrown in the streets to help me get off kilter. So 2023 is already 2023. As the young folks are saying. I don't know what it is about us saying something to add an ing, but we understand that when we say it. 2023 is 2023 and already, right? So we are excited to help replenish you, to encourage you, to uplift you. We have some amazing speakers tonight. And I don't want to belabor the time because I'm a radio television personality, so I can talk. I can talk all day. So we don't want that to happen, right? But I will share um, some of the information about who we have on the platform. And first up for tonight, speaker, we have, and I'm going back to the list, Dominique Dillard. we have Dominique Dillard. And just a little bit about Dominique Dillard. Dominique, oh, don't play now. Dominique is a doctoral student at Louisiana State University in the Department of Sociology. Her research centers on positive sexuality, sexual trauma, anti-blackness, and the social history of Black Americans. Dominique is the founder of Sister Girl, an organization established to support connections, healing, and growth among Black women. Dominique is a passionate, innovative educator committed to improving the quality of Black humanity, especially Black youth. She's an active community member, currently serving as a board member of the Louisiana Foundation Against Sexual Assault. Dominique enjoys trying new foods, traveling, and playing The Sims in her free time. Girl, I did not know they still had The Sims. Shut the door. Dominique will briefly share about Black women's history. Make sure you follow Dominique at Love Sister Girl. Come on up, Dominique. We're excited to have you today. Is she ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? What y'all know about that song? It's old school. Do I need to go to the next presenter, Fancy?
I'm sorry. So Dominique actually wasn't able to make it tonight. No, can you hear me?
I can hear
Can
you
you
fine.
hear me? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. It's like it's the delay. But Dominique sent in a video and I'm trying to get the video to play.
Understood. So how you guys feeling tonight? I see Nicole Franklin said she is ready to be made home. Jamie Watkins, speaker, author, coach. She's ready. Salone Robinson is ready. LaDonna Marie, baby, she ready on Facebook. Who else is ready? Listen, we ready. And I'm excited about it. I'm glad you guys are here with your patience and ready for this conversation.
1 second, y'all. Okay, so not to mention, I realized the reason why everything was echoing is because my AirPods switched over. Please be patient with me just 1 minute more while I'm trying to get this to pull up. Why am I not getting the code? If not, um, if we're not able to share it, because Dominique had a really good message. I'm trying to think of another way to share it with you all because it was of significance to what we're doing here tonight. Just the history that she shared. Are you playing a video? Yes. Can we get to that? Yes. Share screen. Okay.
I'm glad we prayed because you know the enemy does not want us, especially Black women, to be made whole. So we rebuke the enemy in our technology and all that was planned to be done for us tonight, for us to receive tonight. We will receive everything on God's calendar in Jesus' name tonight. I thank you for the video that will play, that will work, and it's going to be good. It's going to be all good in Jesus' name. I need everyone to stand in agreement that we will not have any more technical difficulties, that what is planned, what God had us on his calendar, and the purpose of us being whole and receiving the information, because it must be good. The enemy's trying to stop it. We will receive it tonight. Absolutely.
Okay, so I just got the code, so it must be like I think the prayer worked, y'all. Because honestly, and then why I say this code is invalid.
It's okay. It is coming. So we got some people type in where people can follow you on your Instagram, we have somebody. I just saw one. This thing scrolls so fast. Follow Sharice on Instagram. Reading reaps rewards. Okay. At Reading reaps rewards. Instagram. Anybody else have some Instagram tags, Facebook tags we can share? Thank you for the amens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got some believers in here. Baby Sharice said the devil
Okay.
is a liar.
Well, y'all know we adapt. That's something that I'm used to. So what we can do is go on and please
Oh,
introduce
okay.
Ebony, and Ebony is backstage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we can
Okay.
bring her in and begin our next activity once you finish introducing her.
There was a quick suggestion just to share it with you. Fancy, can you hear me? Okay. So we're going to go with Ebony, and prayerfully she'll be able to get the information behind the scenes that we have here. So listen, we're going to keep right on going, and y'all keep praying because that video is going to play tonight. Trust me. I don't play about prayer and believe in God. There's always something with the enemy trying to stop something. So we're going to go forward and move forward with Ebony Lambert. She is a yoga instructor. Y'all get ready. Listen, y'all can't just be sitting there eating, drinking wine and eating rotel and baby shower food tonight. We finna get some work in, so I hope y'all ready. Ebony Lambert is a free spirit woman of many gifts. Ebony has taken her yoga journey and turned it into a way of life, which created the words, it's not just yoga, it's your life. Ebony offers wellness life coaching, spiritual guidance, private sessions, private group classes, meditation, Reiki. I hope I said that right, Ebony. If I didn't, I apologize. And body work therapy. Ebony has a unique way of guiding you beyond your belief. Ebony is coming on stage to share some wealth, health, and wholeness information with us, as well as lead us in a yoga exercise. To learn more about Ebony, you can follow her at One with Ebony on Instagram, as well as her website, onewithebony.space. Come on, Ebony, we flexible for you, girl. And you're muted.
There
There
it
we go.
is. Hi, how are you?
Hello, are you able to share your video with us? Yes, no, maybe so. Can you hear me, Ebony?
Can you hear me? I can hear you now.
Okay, there we go. Awesome.
Okay. So hello, so my name is Ebony, and yes, I am on One with Ebony. So just a few tips on yoga. The most important thing I like to talk about yoga is breathing. So a lot of times we're in these crazy poses, and we just all of a sudden forget to breathe. So we just stop breathing, and we're tense, tight, and trying to flow on a mat, and the breath is not flowing. So as you see, I'm sitting in a chair. This is a very gentle style of yoga. So whether you're sitting on a couch at home or in a chair, we're just going to do a little bit of stretching. But what I want you to really focus on is length in the spine and then long inhales and exhales. And so every time you inhale, think about creating more space in the body. And every time you exhale, think about just settling into the pose. So one of my favorite things to do in a chair, we're going to take the right leg and we're going to bring the ankle just about on top of the thigh, just above the knee. So I like to place my opposite hand on my foot because we want to make sure that this foot stays flexed in order to protect the knee. So then your right hand is just going to gently press on the knee. Now you can stay sitting up in this position. If you want a deeper stretch, you're just going to slightly lean forward. So you should start to feel this stretch coming all the way down the side of the thigh and really into the glutes. Now, depending on your flexibility, I'm very flexible. So if you want to take it even further, you extend the arms out, and then I'm just hanging forward, really feeling this stretch. So again, going back to the breath as we're holding this, breathe. Do not hold the breath in. Long inhales and long exhales. Really just feel everything release. And then when you're ready, we'll switch and we'll do same thing, opposite side. Now you may be different on each side, and that's normal with the body because sometimes we use one side of the body more than the other. So take that next side wherever you choose. Remember, lengthen the spine. Even as I lean forward, I'm still guiding with my heart so that I keep this length in the spine. Breathing, deep stretch. You should feel that glutes area, side of the thigh. Long inhales, long exhales. If you want to hang it over, you can hang it over the leg. And bringing it all the way back up. Next thing we're going to work on is just kind of opening the hips. So I like to take the legs wider, a little bit past the chair if you don't have arms on your chair. So I'm pressing up on my toes just to create more space in the hips. I'm going to bring my right hand down to the center of my chair. Left arm is going to reach all the way up. Now, as I reach up, I'm releasing out of my shoulders. So pull that right shoulder down. Take your gaze to the ceiling and really reach with that left arm. Feel the stretch all in the side of the body. And then this right hand is just gently pressing back on this thigh. So open up the hips just a little more. As women, we carry a lot of emotions in our hips, so it's really good to get these hips open. We'll switch sides. And if you notice yourself being slightly maybe emotional after doing a lot of hip opening poses, that is completely normal. You're just releasing tension and emotions out of the hips. Really reach, pull that shoulder down. Remember the breath, and then releasing down. So keeping the legs wide, again, depending on flexibility. I'm going to take the hands and just kind of use my forearms to press out more. Lengthen the spine, so I'm leading with my heart. If you want to go deeper, then you can just allow for the arms and head to hang, and you're just hanging forward. Long inhales and exhales. And bringing it all the way back up. We're going to bring the legs back together. So just adding some twisting. Right hand outside of the left knee, left hand behind you. You can grip onto the chair and then just gentle twist. Again, remembering to keep length in the spine. Long inhales, deep exhales. And then we'll take it over, opposite side, deep twist. Good, and back to the center. So clasping the fingers together, turn the palms out. Gently push forward, pulling shoulders down. On your inhale, we're going to take the arms all the way up over the head and lengthen. Really open up here. Breathe. So in yoga, it is good to hear your breath. So making sounds as you inhale and exhale is perfectly fine. Slightly bend the elbows. We're going to release the arms all the way down. Taking an inhale, left arm comes along the side of the face. And just gently hang to your right side. Stretching the side of that body. And then we'll release, opposite side. Right arm comes up. Hang into the left. Good, and bringing it back to the center. So last pose, and one of the things that's actually the hardest for a lot of people to do is just having a moment of stillness. So placing your hands on your thighs, palms can be facing up or down. If you want to close your eyes to kind of go deeper within yourself, you can. And then I just want you to breathe. I want you to feel the breath as it enters the body. Feel the breath as it leaves the body. And then just be aware of what parts of the body rise, what parts of the body release. Just find that moment of stillness. And if thoughts come into the mind, just imagine placing them on a cloud, letting the cloud float on by. Being aware of any tingling, any sensation in the body. And then we're just going to drop the chin into the chest. Let the shoulders relax. And pointing the nose up to the ceiling. And bringing the head back to the center. Good. Gently opening the eyes, bringing the hands to heart center. So we'll take one really deep breath in and fully exhale. And namaste. So just remembering, we don't always have an hour, 60 minutes, 45 minutes to do a yoga practice every day, but just finding moments throughout your day where you can just take a break. If you're at a desk, you can do it in your chair. If you're at home, just take that break just to check in with yourself. Any movement in the body is so healthy for you. Think of it like this. You don't want your body to be stagnant. So if you can get your breath flowing, get your body moving, and then connecting the movement with the breath as well, that's yoga. So you're just yoking everything together. So I thank you for this practice. Do it daily if you can. And like I said, have that time with yourself. Have that stillness. Sit still, silence the mind, silence the thoughts, and just enjoy yourself. I thank you.
Awesome.
You had a good stretch.
Listen, baby, I had to wake up. I was behind stage. Listen, relax the sister. So thank you so much, Ebony, for providing us with that easy way to relax, relate, release.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us some. Are there any other resources that we can go to, like for people like myself that's new to yoga? Are there any resources that you can share for those of us, though this was a good chair exercise? Maybe we want to dive a little bit more into it and share how they may be able to connect with you to get more yoga services as well,
Sure.
virtually.
Sure. So you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and it is One with Ebony. That's spelled out ONE. And I offer all levels. So, my favorite is power yoga. I like doing the handstands and all the crazy stuff, but everybody's journey is different. So I do offer beginner, intermediate, and advanced as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how long have you been doing this? How long have you been a yoga instructor?
So I've been doing this for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And what made you get into it?
So I was in a dark place in life, and I used to just watch people do yoga on YouTube videos, and I just kept saying something just seems very peaceful, about their movement and watching their breath move in and out the body. And so I went off and got certified, and then because it saved my life, I decided it's something I wanted to always give back.
Absolutely, absolutely. For beginners like myself, give us one good tip before you leave the stage in regards to getting into yoga. What can you say to help us understand yoga and to get into it, to not be afraid?
Get out of your head. So many times we get in our head, we have these thoughts that there's something we can't do, yoga's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. So that's actually how I got into bodywork therapy, because bodywork therapy is like having yoga done to you. So whatever your thoughts are about yoga, try to throw them out the door a little bit, because it may not be exactly what your thoughts are.
Sounds good. Again, thank you so much, Ebony Lambert. Can I get some feedback? How you guys feeling? Anyone in the chat, on our virtual chat? How are you feeling? Who did it? Like, y'all, come on. We in this together now. I had to go on and move from my little space, give me a little stretch in. Y'all saw my neck. You know what I'm saying? I feel a little good. How are you feeling? Who did it in the chat? Who took the opportunity to come outside of their comfort zone and do these chair exercises? Let me hear you either on the Facebook chat or here. Thank you. Great tips. No, okay, so namaste. Yes. Chris Natha. Am I saying that right? I'm sorry, Queen. If I'm not, she feels more relaxed. Thanks, Ebony. Yes, Tammy. Thank you, Ebony. Patty Carwood says she loved it. She's the founder of True Serenity Tea. Listen, I'm believing that True Serenity Tea with some yoga, baby, you might not wake up till tomorrow. Set your alarm clock so you can wake up for work. Who else we got? Yes, Imani says she definitely feels more intentional. Lanisha Adams. Yes, thank you guys so much for commenting. That's what I love most about virtual. You know, y'all might be looking how you looking. I had to, do what I do. Can't be on here looking unwhole, looking broken, right? But I want to thank you guys so much for being attentive, not just here on the virtual stage, but on our Facebook Live. I want to say hello to some folks on our Facebook Live that's chimed in. Shout out to Renee Ambush. That's my girlfriend here in Atlanta, Georgia, out the box. Grace upon Jury, Talisha. Thank you, Queen, for chiming in and tagging in some sisters. Awesome, awesome. Jimmy and Alexis Padaway. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Tammy Curry, hello. So I wanted to get some more welcomes in. Welcome, welcome, share. We got a little bit more. Listen, it's not too late. Tag, share, and invite your friends. If you got the link, share it with some others. So they ain't doing nothing this Wednesday night. Some folks ain't back at Bible study. Listen, you ain't got nothing to do but come and hang out with us queens. Black women made whole. Wind down Wednesdays. I'll show y'all my wine a little later. I want to stretch and reach it because I just relaxed, relate, release, and I want to sit here and bask in the ambiance, okay? Bask in the ambiance. All right, next we have Tammy Curry. Look at me trying to be on time with the time. Come on, Jesus. Next we have Tammy Curry. Let me tell you a little bit about Tammy. Tammy Curry is a Reiki, and Tammy, please let me know if I'm saying it right. My public school education sometimes fails me. I almost called it Roku, but it's an E in here, okay? So Tammy Curry is a Reiki practitioner. Tammy Curry is an inner healing advocate. I had to breathe in and breathe out when I said that. Tammy Curry is an inner healing advocate and beauty entrepreneur. She's passionate about helping people to find their inner beauty, strength, and confidence. Tammy believes that when we make the effort to heal ourselves from the inside out, we can create a life of abundance and joy. Her mission is to inspire others to take control of their lives and to live authentically and courageously. This I Met Dream Brand curator is a big believer in the power of beauty and loves to transform lives. She is excited to share her journey with you. Now, Tammy will lead us in unlocking your limitless potential, a spiritual workshop for empowered living. I Met Dream Brand is also our sponsor for tonight. To learn more about IMET Dream, please visit www.imetdream.com and follow Tammy on Instagram at imetdreamgirl Tammy. Hey, Tammy girl, welcome, welcome, welcome to the stage. How are you, Queen?
Good.
I love the crown. You better adjust your crown. That's it.
I'm trying to adjust this video. Give me 1 second. Wait, no, I'm supposed to be streaming.
You're looking good. You're looking refreshed.
I'm sorry, I was supposed to be streaming from my digital camera, and this not it. Hold on, let me see something real quick.
Work it out, honey. Work it out. Come on, y'all. Work it out. Why?
Ain't that something? I'm supposed to be streaming.
Work it out.
I
Come
want
on,
to
y'all.
stream
Y'all
using
go to
my
class.
camera, but let
Work
me go
it
ahead
out.
and proceed. I'm not gonna get stuck here. I'm not gonna get stuck here. Hold on one moment, okay?
Come on, y'all.
Let
Y'all
me
got
adjust.
y'all know the Baptist song. Work it out. How you gonna pay your rent? Work it out. All your money is spent.
Work it out.
Come on, y'all. We gotta work it out.
Work it out. Baby need a new pair of shoes.
Work it out. Listen.
What you say? Baby need a new pair of shoes.
Yes. And it got the light bill too. What? Work it out. Won't he do it?
Y'all.
He said he would. Yay.
Can y'all see me?
We see you, girl. We see you looking good. You're looking good. You're smelling good. Come on with
Thank
the
you. I
royalty.
appreciate that. Come on, royalty.
Yes.
Come on time.
Come
So
on.
look, I don't know if you can see this board.
Now we can't
Can you
see
see
the
this
scribbles,
board?
sis. Now I don't know if you can zoom in on the listen. And I got my glasses on. I'm
Let
gonna
me
tell
see.
you.
Let me see. I have my dang on camera right here. It say you can cancel the USB if you want to, or continue to stream. I'm streaming, but where is it? Let me see if I can select.
Yeah, I'm a good prayer warrior, but I don't know if I can make them. You know what I'm saying? Because they look like the bottom of the board, the line. They look like line 20 when they trying to check your vision. My prayer ain't that strong, sis. But I got you on the back end. It look like you got something on there though, baby. It look like it's real.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. But that board, honey, you gotta
You can
sign
hear me.
up.
Can you see me?
We hear you and we see you. Fine.
Now, let's
We
see
just
what's
went,
going on. Let me see, where am I streaming from?
we
Okay, so
just
I'm
went.
streaming from here. Let's go ahead and zoom in.
Yeah,
Give
that's
me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. Okay. Oh, look at that! Hold on.
All right, boy. I mean, but on the cool, sis. It's coming in the focus. It is coming in the focus.
Hold on, let's see what we got.
And we got
One more little adjustment. Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
all right, Jesus, you come on in the focus. It's coming. It's coming.
You see?
Yes, it's gotten a little
Thank y'all for
better.
y'all patience. Can you see me though?
We see you.
It's getting better.
Yes, you did some where the board came in the focus a little bit.
And now it's gone.
I see it,
Now
but
see,
you're
y'all
gonna
already
have
know
to
this
like
not
talk
gonna
it
get
out
me.
though. You know, you're just gonna have to talk it out. But I see the 478.
All right, I'm gonna talk it out. I'm gonna zoom in on one. I'm gonna zoom in on one part at a time. Okay.
Work it out.
All right, let's work it out. Ooh, child. Can you see this board, Lady Tiffany?
I see the board, sis.
Lady
I mean, I
Tiffany.
love the blue and white.
All
It's
right, welcome,
meditative,
everybody.
but I don't know what it say, but we see it.
Listen, thank y'all so much for coming. I just want to do one test before you leave, Lady Tiffany. Can you hear me and can you see me? Is it synced okay? Come back, ma'am.
You are
Somebody
good to
let me
go.
know
We
if they can
working
hear
with
me.
you. We with you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate your prayer.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yoga, that was awesome. I was not doing the stretching, but her voice was very calming and soothing to me. So thank you so much for that, Ms. Lambert. My name is Tammy Curry, curator of Image Dream Brand. And what I do at Image Dream Brand, I lead with the consciousness and realizing that, hey, I want to be my true, authentic self. And so I want to encourage you also to be your true, authentic self and to show up your best magical self, whatever that version is for you, you show up as that, right? So today we're going to be unlocking limitless potential. So what does that mean? Unlocking limitless potential. To me, it means I have potential that I possibly may know about, may not know about. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to push past the idea of this is just all who I am. I'm going to push past that idea, okay? And I'm going to focus on my possibilities. So I invite you guys, I'm looking at two cameras, so excuse me if I'm looking down and looking up. So I invite you all to come on this journey with me. What we're going to do first, though, is do a few breathing techniques. Now, the breathing techniques that I love to use is called the 4-7-8, right? I don't know if you've heard of it. So what we're going to do, I want to do exercises with me. We're going to do some inhaling, we're going to hold, and then we're going to exhale. Now, for me, what this does, it reduces my stress and my anxiety, okay? It also gives me mental clarity, all right, and awareness. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and talk you through it, and then we're going to do some together. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to inhale through our nose for 4 seconds. We're going to hold for 7 seconds. And then we're going to exhale through our mouth for 8 seconds. And when you exhale it, I want you to make a whoosh sound, like, you know what I mean? So I want you to do that at your exhale. So we're going to do a couple of rounds of this. And I want somebody, once we're finished, to let me know how are you feeling afterwards, okay? I usually do this when I'm tensed, when I'm anxious, when I have a meeting or something that I have to go to prior to today, this as well, prior to the start of this event. This is what I use. It keeps me centered. It keeps me grounded. And so over here on this side is the map of consciousness, but we're going to get there because we're going to utilize this over here. All right. So let's go ahead and do the breathing with me. We're going to do about 2 rounds. Okay. I'm going to count you down. Use these things. I'm going to count you down. We're going to go from there. All right. So let's go ahead and inhale through our nose at the count of 4. You ready? Let's do it with me. Whew. Do y'all feel that? Feel like we probably need to do about 2 more. Whew. I know I need to do about a couple more. So let's do it again. Again, we're going to inhale at the count of 4. We're going to hold it for 7 seconds. We're going to exhale through our mouth for 8 seconds, okay? Please do this with me. I promise you, you will feel a lot better than before you came. I promise. Let's go. Feel a little lighter, huh? Y'all want to do one more? As you can probably hear, my tone has also changed. So it definitely helps, also regulates blood circulation. I am no doctor. I'm just letting you guys know what it does for me. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to go ahead and start here with the map of consciousness, okay? Let's do one other big inhale, 4 seconds. Thank y'all so much. Again, please make sure you put in the chat how that breathing exercise made you feel afterwards, maybe what you before felt like after you did the technique. Again, it's called the 4-7-8 technique. It reduces my stress and my anxiety levels. And it also gives me mental clarity to help with the, when I say awareness, meaning just aware of my surroundings. It helps me be more aware of people I'm around, my environment, as well as how I feel. So mainly what we're going to talk about in terms of how I feel, in terms of our emotions. So the map of consciousness is basically pretty much a map of our emotions, but you'll be able to see it. And hold on, I felt like I heard somebody say, turn it over, turn it a little bit. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Nope. Okay, well, I ain't gonna mess with it. Hopefully everyone is able to see this board. Let's just go back a little bit. Or just follow along with me, okay? Follow along with me and just hear me out. So the map of consciousness is centered around our emotions. You're able to see your emotions. How are you feeling? We're able to look at it actually on the map. When we're going in our everyday, day-to-day operations or day-to-day, whatever it is that we're doing, we're not really focused in on really how we feel and what comes before and what comes after. We don't really focus on that. We're more so focused on the problem as opposed to the solution. So one thing, doing these breathing and looking at this map and paying attention to it, it helps me more aware of who I am and what I'm capable of doing in terms of how to navigate my emotions. Do I do it all the time exactly like this map? Not. Sometimes I skip over, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's just happy to be able to present this to you guys. So low vibration. So low vibration, we have different levels of vibration, right? So this map of consciousness is going to get you from 20 to 1,000, right? We're just going to do it in numeric terms, okay? Act like act like your emotions are more numeric, okay? If that makes any sense, just stay with me. I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. So your low vibrations, of course, is shame. We're at a 20, right? So in that shame, you're feeling miserable. So a lot of times when we're feeling shame about whatever it is that we did, or thinking about doing, or have done, that vibration and that energy will have us feeling low. It's the lowest. It don't get no lower than that, right? But that energy and what it is that you're feeling also obviously rubs off on other people. So it depends on the person, depending on the character. You may, hey, I'm feeling miserable about something. Let me go make this person feel miserable, right? As opposed to, hey, I'm feeling bad today. I'm feeling miserable. I can't get no lower than this. Let me call somebody. Let me phone a friend. Let me get a lifeline. Like that TV show back in the day. I can't think of the name of it. But a lot of times, it's also easier as humans that we take those feelings and these emotions out on others, and that's not good. That's not the way to go. But one thing I could say is I can resonate. Somebody need to help me with, because I can keep going on and on. So I have to remind myself this is 20 minutes. All right, so let me hurry up. So then we got guilt. Okay, that's when we blame others. We blame others for whatever they did or whatever it is how they made us feel. We blame them. And sometimes speaking for myself personally, I'm not, saying this is how you interact with others. I'm speaking for myself personally and things that I've been through in life. And so sometimes when we feel guilty, we blame others. And when we blame others, we fail to see our part in it, okay? So when we fail to see our part of it, we don't take accountability for our actions. So if we're not taking accountability, if I'm not accountability for my actions, how am I going to get to these other levels, okay? How will I grow, right? This energy is just stagnant. So in this level, this map of consciousness, as you feeling a little better or trying to climb up a little higher, now you're feeling hopeless. You're feeling sadness, some grief, right? Some fear. After your grief, what was this grief? Okay, I grieved. I don't remember what life used to be prior to whatever this that happened, but I'm afraid. I don't know what's on the other side. Okay, so that's when your anxiety kicks in, and then so that turns into desire. It could, let's say it's something tangible. That turns into desire, which is greed, which is still that low vibrational realm, right? So it's destructive energy. And so when you have, of course, the destructive energy, you're not going to be able to manifest and unlock your limitless potential in this low vibration. So you want to get higher. How do I get higher? For me, if just going through life in general and being aware of just life patterns, how do I want to get higher? Well, you know what? I know I'm afraid right now, but I want to feel here. I want to be here. So when I say look as numeric, I'm looking at it as if, okay, how long or how far do I need to climb to get to this other level, or what's on the other side? So just follow me. I hope I haven't lost you. So we got the anger. And then we go to that anger is hate and aggression, right? So again, it's vibration. You won't be able to unlock your limitless potential in this destructive energy, but at least you're getting somewhere, right? And then you have your pride, okay? That pride, you're dependent upon external conditions. You want to apologize. You want to do something different. You want to take accountability, but you have that pride. And you 9 times out of 10, when it comes to pride, and we don't check it, I should say, it pretty much gets in the way of a lot of our blessings, a lot of abundance that God has for us. And so sometimes we have to check it at the door. Like, hey, I'm feeling very prideful right now. I want to apologize, but it's hard for me to apologize because I don't know if they're going to accept my apology or not, right? But it's not about that. You got to take courage. You got to have courage. You have to have courage and push through all of that you're feeling. And that's when it first appear, when you have courage. I actually went, what did I do for my birthday last year? I went jump off a plane, and it was I was great, but I pushed through it because I said, hey, I want to push through here, and I want to have the courage and do something different. And so I did do that, and it was so exciting. So when you're at church, life is exciting. There's a level of empowerment there, okay? And so again, that's when your power first appears. You're about to begin to your creative energy. With that creative energy, this is what's helping you unlocking that limitless potential that you have. We all have it. And so after that neutrality, you're feeling, that inner confidence. You have that boost of confidence, that energy becomes positive again. And you've gone through all of this, and now you're basically healing through it. And so using this breathing technique, I want to go back to this, helps with this as well, because of course, nobody wants to feel like that. It's not like we want to walk around and feel in this way. We want to feel like we can, but how to do it. So what helps me is my breathing technique, and also, well, it's not my breathing technique, but this 4-7-8 breathing technique, and understanding and knowing that there's positive and there's abundance on the other side. I just gotta push through it, right? If I've hurt someone, I have to acknowledge, hey, I hurt you. I apologize. Please forgive me. And it's up to them if they forgive or not. So it's just being aware of that and not having that energy stagnant, because when you have energy that's stagnant, and not hard to manifest anything with that energy. So you want your energy to flow. When it flows properly, you're able to get to wherever you need to go with no problems, right? You'll have a few bumps in the road, but you don't want it to remain stagnant. But I also understand that, like for me, hey, I'm not feeling good today. You got to give me a minute. So I tell my friends, hey, I'm not feeling well today. I just kind of want some time to myself, some alone time to myself, okay? That way I can pray and have that time with God. And that's what I do. But going back to here at the board, So now we're going to willingness, where you success and you fast. Now you're rapidly growing because you have a willingness to do better, right? You've accepted whatever this is, whatever the issue was, whatever the changes that's happening in your life. You've accepted that. And so when you have acceptance, you have creativity in that area, and you also have major transformations. Okay, I'm sure lots here. I through many transformations. That's why I'm kind of able to navigate, if you could say, as best as I can. We'll put it that way. So now we're at 400. So you're getting a little higher now. Also, I just want to say really quick, I hope somebody tell me if I'm going over the time, because I tend to do that. I apologize in advance, Fancy. But our music, the things that we listen to, it, when they mix music, it's mixed on hertz, right? And so that's why some music that you listen to, you feel like you're crying, you're sad for no reason. It's like, man, why am I sad? I don't know. Well, because music is intentionally mixed on certain hertz, whatever the intention is for whoever who mixed the music. So, a lot of times it's kind of like and not really a game, but if you like, I don't know how to describe it, but that's how I look at it. Like, so if I'm feeling low, sometimes I put on high vibrational music. So let's say music at 400 or 500 hertz, right? That's a different topic for a different day, but it helps me get from all the way to here. So sometimes just look up music, look up hertz, and just kind of get to know how music also impacts our mood. So let's go skip to love. This is where I love to be. This is one of my favorite places to be, because I love love. Okay. And so this is when you start to dissolve that negativity. It starts to dissolve, right? So now you have true happiness. Your intention, your intuition, your intuition is clear, like you're tapped in. You have pure motive from your heart and from your emotions. So this is actually one of my favorite places to be, here in this love area. And then of course you have joy, peace, and powerful inspiration or enlightenment. So like I say, I use this 478 technique a lot, especially when I'm going through these different levels, because it makes it less challenging, a little bit more comfortable. Even though I know it's going to be some challenges, because I know it's going to be some challenges, a tool that I know to help me get through and navigate those challenges. Okay. So in a nutshell, I hope you kind of took something away from this piece tonight. And that's all I have. Miss Tiffany Nicole, where you at? Has it been 20 minutes? I can keep going.
Listen, you did your good talking today. There were some things that I picked up from you about music and staying in a place too long. I do love the diagram that you did about the levels going from the bottom to the top. You did that very well. I'm sure you could take a little longer with those areas, because we are dealing with healing, because you really can't talk about it in 20 minutes. But I thank you so much for your presentation and taking the time to really help us and give us as much information as you could with the time you have available. Now, I got to ask you, Reiki, how am I supposed to pronounce that?
You had it right.
Okay, so it is Reiki.
Not Roku.
Because we are all black.
Yes, and just, I was a Reiki practitioner.
Awesome, Reiki practitioner. So tell us a little bit more, since you are so.
Yeah, you got it right. It wasn't Roku, but it was something that I did. I can't hear her. I can, but I can't.
Can you hear me now?
It's okay. I can't hear you. You can't hear me. But as long as I'm sitting here looking cute, I'm looking cute.
You're good. That part. My question now is, tell us about.
So that's all I had. You have any questions for me, Lady Nicole?
Yes. Can you hear me? No, maybe not. What's up?
You break it up a little bit.
Okay, I just want to know more about the IMAT Dream brand and what that is, and how can it help us in our healing journey. And if you can't hear
so
me,
Imagery brand, of course, is a beauty brand. It's my beauty brand where I'm the curator of. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Where I'm the curator of, right? So we sell goat milk. Well, 97% of the brand is curated with goat milk, and that consists of skin, hair, and body care. So that comes with your facial cleanser, your moisturizer, eye creams, your hair detangler shampoo, edge control. As you can see, my edges are laid. Can you see that? Doesn't
Okay,
move.
all right.
24-hour hold. Let me plug in real quick. So that's what imagery I tell this and everybody never plan to be or don't have to be a salesperson. And so imagery brand is a humanized brand, right? So what that means is we navigate based on and our goal. And what that is basically it's just to inspire you to unlock my potential. That too. Basically to be show a magical version of you, right? What I mentioned earlier. That is what the goal is. That is what I strive to do. And so I'm not a saleswoman. I'm not going to pretend to be. The bomb, everybody knows it. I have an imagery community who also love the products. So they pretty much sell themselves, but my goal is to just show up my authentic self, and that's what I do.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Tammy. I thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. Fancy said Tammy's edges always do be laid. No lie. Listen, I will be getting at you so that I can I know my braids a little fresh, my little twist a little fresh, but about 2-3 weeks, the chillings around the edges start sliding on there. So I get at you with some edge cream, boo.
Yeah. And get you a good lead conditioner. That way when you take your braids down, let them flow, you go and spray that mist on in your hair. Give that
you better tell it, girl. Listen, we finna
tingly feel.
We finna be whole and our edges. Yes, well, it's such a pleasure to chat with you, Tammy, and I'm sure we'll talk more. And we're going to move forward, but y'all make sure y'all follow Tammy, IMAT Dream Girl. Go online, get you some edge cream so we can be whole, healed, and edges on fleek. Amen. Amen. It's a new season. Keep your edges together. Thank you, Queen. Listen, we are having a good time here at Black Women Made Whole. Shout out to the virtual audience as well as our Facebook Live audience. I'm doing double duty here, but y'all say hey, hey girl, hey. Saying hello to the Facebook Live audience. Y'all, thanks so much for staying connected. Lanisha said, "Oh, curd laid edges." Gloria said, "This was great." What else we got? This was good. LaDonna Marie said, "This was good." I thoroughly enjoyed Miss Tammy. Thank you so much. Tammy, you can follow her at IMAT Dream Girl Tammy, Emet Dream Girl Tammy on Instagram. And if you want to get your edges done for your new season of wholeness, like we finna do, go to www.emetdream, IMATDREAM.com. Listen, we are live here at Black Women Made Whole. Make sure you invite other sister girls, sister friends. It is Wind Down Wednesday. We're talking about wholeness. We're getting tools and tips to win in 2023. We don't only want to be made whole, we want to win all 2023. We've had a yoga session. We've relaxed, released. We got some good information from Tammy about how to get to wholeness, how to process our emotions. Ladies, listen. Y'all know we can be some emotional creatures, as he said in that movie. We got to learn to tune in and really control our actions, to really control our emotions, and not let so much really get to us, how we allow it to get to us. Next up, we have Cynthia Williams in the building. Cynthia Williams coming to the stage. Let me find. Cynthia Williams is a grief recovery specialist. Miss Cynthia is the founder of Love from Afar, the Christopher Allen Williams Foundation, and PAD, Parents Against Distracted Driving. Wow. Cynthia is a certified teen life coach and mentor, a Pride, Parents Reducing Injury and Driver Area instructor, a motivational speaker, and a grief recovery specialist, and a certified mediator and generational conflict resolution specialist. That sounds so good. Cynthia is a testament of overcoming, of taking personal tragedy with the loss of her oldest son, Christopher, to a fatal car crash in 2006, and coming out triumphant by using that experience and her story to help others. She is a single mother of four and lives in the Atlanta area. Last year, she did receive the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award and was inducted into the Apex Museum of Women in History. Please welcome Miss Cynthia Williams to the stage as she will speak on overcoming grief. And I know for a personal experience that that's a lifelong journey, a lifelong journey of overcoming grief. Cynthia Williams, hey Queen, welcome to the stage. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hope all is well tonight, Lady Tiffany.
It is more than well.
Great to hear. Hello to everyone here with us this evening. Thank you for joining us, and to the presenters and speakers previous to me. Great job. Everybody's dealing with things that we all need every day as women. But just to kind of touch on what grief is, I know people kind of relate grief to being death. And if you know grief is many different things in life. Grief is not only death, it is also the loss of a relationship, because everything is a relationship. Your parents, your siblings, your children, the fathers of your children, your girlfriends, your cousins, your jobs, your car, your pet. There's so many different entities of relationships, and imagine losing a few of them at one time, and some are alive and some have passed away. What we have to recognize is grief is so inevitable. And in the midst of it, we're going to endure it, and it's painful. My process is to teach you all how to successfully manage grief and to heal properly from it, to make sure that you know it has to be dealt with. We can't escape it. And we have to be strong enough in our own minds to know that grief has to be attacked head on, despite the pain that it brings. We want to live in a new normal type of living. We don't want grief to overtake our lives. We don't want to feel like we can't handle grief. So we have to deal with grief according to when we actually initially ever had it. And the majority of us have had it as childhood. And the trauma isn't as deep until you become an adult and you realize, I've been dealing with this since I was 6, or I've been dealing with this since my parents divorced, or I've been dealing with this since I had my first boyfriend, and now I just don't trust forever, or I've been dealing it with since I was raped and I never told anybody, or I've been dealing with it too long. And we just have to understand that it doesn't go anywhere until we take the time in our own lives individually to adhere to it and give ourselves some relief in our mind, body, and soul, that you deserve more to live than to have to hold on to something that's traumatized you for however long you've held it. And we do a small arithmetic of 365 days, which we all know is a year, time the date of incidents. So if you know that for 365 days, you've dealt with something that's just that long. But most people have dealt with things for like 10 years, if you think of childhood trauma, and that's 3,650 days. And I always ask my clients, once we do that arithmetic of date of incident to how long we are today, Isn't that too many days? How many more do you want? When it's a matter of just facing that it happened and it can't happen again. Uncle Bobby can't rape you and he's 70. It just can't happen again. So to say you can't love properly because you were touched when you were little, well, we're going to just keep sweeping it under the rug? Or we're going to just say, hey, you know what? That won't be my future in my life. It is my past, but my future will no longer determine how my past took me out. It happened. Now, what we got to do is forgive ourselves first for not thinking that much of ourselves to continue to hold on to it so long. And we got to forgive our abusers, whatever that grief is. It can't happen again, but forgiveness is for us. It's not for them. When you recognize how important it is to forgive, you'll get this relief. It's like removing tons of bricks off your shoulders. And when I tell you I ain't heard this, I have lived it. I have mastered the mindset of a human so that I'm able to allow you to release this trauma that somehow you feel you need to hold on to. See, the brain is only set up to hold on to so much. 75% of your brain is to use the things that it does: using the bathroom, walking, and talking. That's 75% of the brain. It's all by itself. That's all it does. Another 15% of the brain is the reading and the math and the writing and the morals and the values, which leaves every human at about the age of 15 just 5% to take some of that stuff in and out. Meaning, for instance, if your grandmother and your mother and your sister were all teen parents, and then you became the person who wasn't, it might be wise that you find a way to break the generational curse with those to come after. But it seems normal that someone 15 would bring a baby shower gifts and baby shower invitation to high school because it's normal in the household. What we don't want to seem like is humans have control over babies coming. No, we don't. We have no control. And just like we have no control over them dying. I would have never thought that when I was 17 years old and I was a single mother, that I would bury my same child when he was 17. And it was until then that I recognized I don't own these children that I have. They belong to God. And we get so wrapped up into the grief. It wasn't until I became a grief specialist to understand, you know what, God, I wasn't ready. I wanted to be a mother a little longer with him. I didn't want to see what I saw when I arrived at the hospital from his car accident. I wasn't ready. I wasn't a science major, so how am I seeing a brain? And my other children, when my 9-year-old says, well, if he's went to heaven, let's go to heaven. You don't want to go to heaven and get him? And now I'm explaining life and death at an age where I'm just young enough to understand it myself. But God knew that I would be the person for the job. And from that point, I've gone all around the world and shared my son's story. And I've helped mothers understand the difference between life and death, and letting them know that the angel you have now is not the one you expected to have, but it's the one you can call on and say, hey, Jesus. Yeah, so since you let Peter, you mess with him after he just kind of despised you a bit, because I'm just struggling down here with the fact that you took my child and I wasn't really ready for him to leave. And I know that, when he touched me when I was little, I was figuring that you would take him first. And now I realize that it was just my job to help these other people in the world. But Lord, who told you I wanted that job? Who told you I wanted to do that? But yet and still we have no control over what our purpose is. And so we have to master it. And we have to be mindful that our testimonies and our purposes is what we are and what we've walked through. But we must give it to others because that's what our purpose is for. Those that become purposeful from hearing our purpose. So it's unfortunate. We're going to walk through some things. We're going to lose some people. We're going to never understand what it feels like to be that person at that time, to close that casket or close that relationship or get that car repoed or lose that job or break up with our girlfriends we've been friends since we was younger, but we grew apart. Now she don't like you and you don't like her, and you're sleeping with the same men. And my God, can we just find a way to breathe, because life be life. But it's never meant to destroy you. It's meant to grow you. It's meant to elevate you. It's meant to be ready for the people to come behind you, because they coming. And God wants you to be the vessel to show them the right, the wrongs, and the indifferent. Enough for them to have a better life, and not to be the ones who gossip, and not to be the ones who laugh, and not to be the ones who judge, and not to be the ones who feel like it's not me. Yeah, it's you. It's you. Now it's time for us to be better people, better women, better men, better young adults, better children, all by sharing who we are and where we come from, all by letting people know. I didn't understand that. I began to think when my son was dead and before he died, and I could see that they told me I needed to change the plug now. You need to change the plug because his brain is no longer having blood flow through it. And I began to get on the ground and pray and say, Lord, you know what? If it was for the drugs I sold, I thought when I went to prison, that was my punishment. So if it was from the drugs I sold, Lord, forgive me. Was it from that time that I fought that girl when I was younger? Forgive me. Take me, Lord. Don't take him. He said, again, don't flatter yourself. This ain't about you. He don't belong to you. He belongs to me. Now go tell everybody how I helped you through it. But you got to get up. We can't suffer through our pain. We know pain is inevitable. We got to recognize it. We got to press through it. And we got to help somebody else. So the quicker you analyze that you have pain, the quicker you recognize you need help is when you need to get the help. Don't let the stigma of the older generation tell you that you're crazy because you get help, because they lied to us. You got to get the help so your children know that it's not normal to fight with your siblings and fight with your mama and be drunk and do drugs. It's not normal. But because those are what we call STIRBs, it was an acronym for short-term energy releasing behavior syndrome. Once you high and your high wear off, the problem's still there. Once you drunk and the drunk wear off, the problem's still there. So face the problem like a dog, like a whole pit bull. Can't Corso, get to it. But don't run, because you was built for this. You got it. But only if you believe that you got it. Nobody can tell you but you that you got it. And no one can tell you you're wrong if you believe you got it. God's going to tell you that. So don't look to anybody to tell you different. When it pains in your soul, get rid of it. Accept it. Journal every night. Get you some sleep. And when your mind gets to race from anxiety and depression, those things, yell out to the devil and tell him, stop! God called me to be a vessel. He didn't call me to give up. And I refuse, despite the pain that it hurts to lose a mother and you lose a father and lose a child. Know that He wants you to be the testimony you were called to be. You don't have to suffer through it. Everybody get an accountability partner, somebody that understands in the middle of the night when you just can't sleep and they just gonna listen. They don't got their version at that time. It's your time. Get you an accountability partner. There's 5 things every human should attach themselves to every day. Love. Who and what do we love? Loss. Who and what have we lost? Lessons. What lessons have we learned from a love that we lost? Legacy. What are we leaving our legacy? Who are we leaving our legacy to? What is our legacy? Loyalty. Who are we loyal to? What are we doing every day? If we find our way to learn how to love despite a loss, know that lessons are meant to build you. Our legacy are for those that when we leave, they got to follow. What they going to say for you at your funeral. And what we loyal to. If you put the energy into those things, you'll know each day. A lot of us put a lot of process and energy into stuff that don't matter. But figure out what life is for you and know that you have a purpose that God wants you to master for others and not yourself. Thank you.
Woo. That was powerful. Thank you for sharing your testimony. Um,
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for going through to get to help bring us out. Thank you for sharing 5 things to attach ourselves to every day: love, loss, lessons, legacy, loyalty. Thank you for that. You know, for me, oftentimes when people think of grief, we think of loss in the form of death of a loved one, and that definitely is grief. But if you've ever been divorced, baby, to grieve somebody that's still alive,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's one of the hardest. Especially we as women, we were created to love properly. So we don't get breakups too easy of no magnitude, right? We ain't really ready to let go. But
man,
relationships are like drugs. And sometimes we have to do it because we were wronged. And sometimes we just know that it's easier to let it go than to stay and continue to be in a relationship that is not good for you.
yes. And here recently, I learned a new grief, which made sense. Grieving our old self.
Yep.
Every time we grow, become new, there's an old person that we can't be anymore.
Absolutely.
And so when you're on your journey and becoming all that God has called you to be,
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of those old habits,
Mm-hmm.
old friends, old circumstances, things that we used to do, old disciplines to become new. There's a person that we're still grieving, that we're fighting to become.
Yes, the enemy in me, right?
Yes.
The enemy in me. And I think a lot of us, the average human masters immaturity and they don't
Mm,
want to grow up, right? And so when it comes to a life where you have people that come behind you like children and grandkids, you shouldn't be doing the same thing you did pre your kids coming into your life. And you just have to tell them, all right, God gave me kids each year of their life. That you need to tell them who you were the year of your life and let them know. So when they turn 6, yeah, that's what I did when I was 6. And when they turn 14, and if it was, this is when I started smoking weed, and this is when I first started having sex. So it's time to have, because we are our kids. Our
mm,
kids are us. Father,
yes.
Son, Holy Spirit, mother, father, child. If people don't recognize that your kids are who they are, and what's wrong with these teenagers? Don't nobody want to talk about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless you, mighty
Thank
woman
you.
of God, for your ministry and your transparency. Y'all, if you guys want to connect with Miss Cynthia, if you need a session,
You went mute, Lady Tiffany. I can't hear you. If you guys want to connect with me, I am at Love From Afar. And if you really are in need of sessions, inbox me. I don't mind giving a consultation off and talking to somebody. I'd rather you talk to me and not than other than no one at all. So we can get you into the right direction of knowing what you need to do to heal. I'm very reachable. Although, if you call my number on my site, my assistant's going to get to me, but I'm really reachable because I've been through too much pain to let other people go through it. So I don't know what happened to the video, but I want to thank you all for having me this evening. And hopefully Lady Tiffany or Fran will come back on. Or hey, you're muted too.
My bad. Thank you so
There
much,
you go.
Cynthia.
You're so
I'm not
welcome.
certain what happened with Lady Tiffany Nicole, but I'm gonna go ahead on and prepare for the next speaker. And
Gotcha.
thank you again. Like, we received tons of comments, so check those out too when you're back off stage. But
I
thank
will.
you again.
All right, you're welcome. See you later.
All right, guys. So coming to the stage next is, one second. I'm working the controls and trying to read at the same time. I have, and I know who's next. I'm just trying to find the bio. So just a second. I'm looking for Dr. Lanisha Adams. And Lady Tiffany, are you back? I can hear you, but I'm not looking at my screen.
Yes, I am back. Little internet connection.
Okay.
Listen, after that powerful word, you knew the enemy was going to try to do a little something. But man, that was powerful, Fancy. Thank you so much for curating this event, being obedient with these speakers. We are having an amazing time tonight. Everybody chime in, let us know how you're feeling, how you doing. Breathe in, breathe out. And what we got next, sis?
Okay, so we have Dr. Lanisha coming to the stage. You can read her bio, and I'm preparing to bring her on.
Perfect.
And I'm about to go.
Okay.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Y'all, Fancy is not about this life, y'all. She's so good, but you know how we roll. Dr. Lanisha Adams, award-winning author and educational consultant. Lanisha Adams, PhD, doctor. Let me give you your honor, sis. Dr. Lanisha Adams is the award-winning author of Me Power, a motivational self-help book that encourages us to tap into our limitless flow of possibility while connecting with others. The Ivy League educated linguist and founder of award-winning education consultancy challenges others to not only answer this question, but to put the answers into action. Inspired by a microaggression incident with one of her former professors, Dr. Adams would later go on to find her me power while overcoming. Dr. Adams has been featured on CNN, Forbes, Reader's Digest, and others, while Me Power was recently named Best Indie Book Award motivational winner. Dr. Adams will be speaking with us tonight on tapping into our me power. If you want to follow Miss Lanisha, Dr. Lanisha Adams, please visit at edlinguist, EDLINGUIST. And for more, to connect with her, to purchase her book as well, please visit www.lanysha.com. Please welcome the beautiful, the highly educated, me power woman herself, Dr. Lanisha Adams. Welcome, love. Welcome. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, thank you. It's such an honor to be here with you guys. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. You look amazing and sound great.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I'm going to present some slides here and hope that I can do this pretty well. I'm sitting here thinking about the speakers that we've had tonight and just so full, just hearing the women talk about their stance and share the knowledge and experience that they have. It's been phenomenal. I'm floored. You know, as a listener and participator, I'm just sitting here like, wow, these women are amazing. All right, everyone. I'm going to be talking about thriving beyond surviving with me power. So when it comes to Black women made whole and thriving, there are two words that need to be included in every conversation about us. And these two words are me power. Those two words, me and power, are really a redefinition of empower. And what you see on this slide is are the 5 principles that are motivated behind it. But I want to talk about why I redefined the word empower. I took the prefix M and flipped it and focused on me, which is getting to the heart at what the word's true meaning is. And it really has to do with this idea of how we make ourselves whole. And I'm going to talk about that. So this idea, like our very presence as Black women, as women in America, it reflects evidence of individual and collective empowerment over time. And that's a value to all of us. So when we're talking about me power, I spent 2 years unpacking this concept through linguistic analysis, direct and secondary research, and interviews. And after analyzing the data to answer my primary questions of what is empowerment and how do people manifest it, I noticed a pattern of 5 components. And you see these 5 components here in the Black. Embrace your barriers, focus on your strengths, speak for your life, choose your guides, and ritualize your reflection. And these components have to do with an aspect of me that's interrelated. It's kind of beautiful because these acronyms, me, embracing your barriers, having to align with motivated energy, focusing on your strengths as the foundation of your education, my education, speaking for your life, expressing oneself, choosing your guides, mastering excellence, and ritualizing your reflection, being more, realizing that you're actually more than enough. So we all take the word empower for granted. And so if we take a look at what Webster defines it as, we see that it means the act or action of empowering someone or something, the granting of power, right, or authority to perform various acts or duties, right? So this definition, to give someone the power or authority to do something, has always bothered me. If empowerment comes from within, how does someone else give it to you? This is the question I started answering. And really, as a lifelong word lover and trained linguist, to uncover the history of the word, I went to the best resource for the English language, the Oxford English Dictionary. And the OED, as we call it, it has over 600,000 words with present day and historical meanings, with more than 3.5 million entries spanning over 1,000 years. So if you want to look at how English has been used and what things have meant over time, you go to that as a resource. And so I performed this etymological analysis, etymology, you know, the meaning and history of words, and looked at how historically the word was formed and what it has meant. And really, I decided in that examination to take a look at the root of the word, its prefix M. Like I said, I flipped it and reversed it to focus on me. And the word's prefix stems from French, Old French, and Latin, meaning in or into. So the problem then seemed that the problem with the meaning has to do with the word power. And there are 3 misconceptions that really are embedded in this idea of empower. So traditional definitions are based on these 3 misconceptions. The idea that power, the first misconception is the idea that power is finite and conceives of power as a resource distributed among individuals based on rank or status, right? And you see in the visual there that this little man is looking up to a bigger man, right? Like as if other people can really have that much quote unquote power. I don't think that's right. The second misconception purports that we need approval, promoting the idea that power relies on approval from someone else, right? So it's outside of us. And the third misconception is the idea that my win means your loss. So when one party gains power, this automatically means the opposite party loses. This, instead of thinking of power as a finite resource that can only be distributed from one person to another, What if we redefined it as something infinite and ever present, which everyone already embodies? And this is what me power is. It's the knowledge of self, one's knowledge of self, and principled actions we take. So by shifting our thinking from empower to me power, we become the active agents that create the change we want to see in the world. So inherent in traditional definitions of the word is the idea that someone else will quote unquote empower us, right? But empowerment is not something we receive like a gift. It is something we do. It is an activity. It's a process in which we engage. So me power challenges this notion that we need to be empowered by others, right? Me power is knowledge of self and principled action. So in this, you see, I'm going to go through each of the 5 principles, and then I'm going to ask you to write in the chat to engage with me here tonight in the few minutes that we have left as I go through each principle, because I really want us to think about everybody who's spoken tonight and also what it means for us to be made whole. For me, being made whole means we must be empowered. We must feel empowered and we must empower others. But how do we actually do that? And I think we have to start with me first and then look at me first in relation to others, not just me only, but me first. So the first principle of me power is embrace your barriers. And this has to do with this idea of seeing barriers as opportunities instead of as insurmountable obstacles. So this is like if you look at this is focusing on the eye of the storm. And in the eye of the storm, we get all kinds of things thrown at us. So then how can we navigate that while still being us? So I want you to write in the chat, please type number 1 in front of it and answer this question. Can you share one example of Black women showcasing strengths when embracing their barriers, right? What's one example you can share with us of how you can embrace your barriers while still moving forward? And this is kind of a flip because it has to do with seeing the obstacles as the way, which is a very stoic principle, but it's very powerful because we have to do that, especially if we're trying to go from where we are to where we want to be. And there's a lot standing in our way. The second principle of me power focuses on focus on your strength. It is focus on your strengths, which has to do with my education. So it's deeply rooted in this knowledge of self, this concept of one's knowledge of self, which focuses on your strengths and provides a foundation for education, which includes learning within and beyond school, right? So we're always learning in life. So if you can type number 2 in the chat and share what are some tools for identifying one's strengths we can use as resources. One of my favorite tools is called the Value and Action Survey, the VIA survey. It's free and it really rank orders your values as they're activated. And you can take it every 6 months to see, are you using humor? Are you using your strength of curiosity? Are you really practicing gratitude? Is that at the bottom of the rank order or is it in the top? So it's beautiful, but there are other tools that you can use to identify your strengths. What is one that you use? So if you can please type your responses in the chat. When we kind of jump out of this, we can have Lady Tiffany kind of help us keep track of what you guys are sharing, and we can use this as a kind of resource list from us as a community. So the third principle of me power is speak for your life, myself expressed. So speak for your life means speaking up for your authentic self, engaging in positive self-talk, and honoring the responsibility that comes with being heard and understood. And it's important to say that speak for your life isn't just about the verbal expression. It can be how you cook, how you break bread with people that you care about, how you dance, the way in which you play with your children, the way you express yourself, which is in a multitude of ways, right? What you wear, the color of your shoes, the color of your hair. If you got your edges laid with that cream that that was being shared earlier. I mean, it's all of that, right? So how do you speak for your life? How do you show up in the world? So I want to know, with a number 3 in front, if you can type in the chat, what are some best practice examples of how you honor expressions of who you are and where you come from? And this is kind of interesting because expressions of who you are, I'm thinking about my great aunt Florence's peach cobbler that she makes from scratch. And now she has diabetes and she's figured out a way to make it taste so good with less sugar. And I know that was hard for her to master and learn how to do, right? But that is a time old tradition in our family, that good peach cobbler, and we want it with all the sugar and the butter and the fat and the this and the that. But she figured out a way to do it in a way that would help us stay on the planet a little bit longer, right? So that's one way I'm thinking about that, like as an expression of who I am, where I come from, and it ties to my lineage, my history, in one way. So the fourth principle of me power is choose your guides, and it has to do with this idea that you can't evolve beyond the level of your present state of consciousness without a guide of some kind, and a guide can be the higher power you worship, your friends, mentors, coaches. These are all guides. Some people who challenge you too, not just the people who support you, uplift you, but people who challenge you, people who call you out, who ask you questions that allow you to develop a deeper understanding of who you are, who you're becoming on that pathway, who you're leaving behind, who you're grieving behind. And it's very important to think about who are some of our unlikely guides. And this is kind of like a mind question, right? What Who might be a guide for you that you might not think about? So if you can share an example or a story in the chat with a number 4 in the front, that would be so great. And I'm gonna go through these the chat when I jump out of the screen share. But essentially, we want to be thinking about empowerment as this notion that you got this. And not only that, but that you hold others with that same notion of they got it and you got them. And so we kind of are all in this together. It's a very kind of kumbaya, let's hold hands, let's create change in the most positive of ways approach to life. But I feel like if we don't start with ourselves first, we really cannot think about making change in the world. And as Black women being made whole, this is a fundamental concept. This concept of me power is so crucial to what we do and how we move and groove through life. The last principle of me power has to do with ritualizing your reflection. So your reflection is the capacity to clearly see what influences you so you can understand your own behaviors and reactions. And it means regularly reflecting back on your day, week, year, and even longer periods of time to reflect on your behaviors and thinking. So what's your favorite way to ritualize reflection? If you can share with us in the chat, that'd be really great, with the number 5 in front. And one of my favorite ways to ritualize reflection is to do it through photos. And I'm starting to do this project where I'm printing out photos of certain times. So I have a friend that's watching right now, a dear friend Kristen, and she's all the way in Santa Fe. And we were reminiscing about this one Halloween where I was Cornel West and she was Cornel West's past before he found religion. And man, did I have that costume laid. And it was so awesome to go down this memory lane from like 12 years ago when we dressed up as that for the Halloween, but then we talked about what was happening in our life and what was so meaningful to us, and what her house looked like where the photo was taken, and what we were doing and what that meant for at that point in time. And so this can become like a ritual where you really tap into this notion that, hey, even then, even though I'm not where I was then, I'm where I am now. I was enough then and I'm still enough now. I'm more than enough, right? And so it's kind of a nice exercise. So if you can share what's your favorite way to ritualize reflection, that would be so awesome, as a number 5 in the chat. And so I'll end by saying that really this notion of me power, I really want to emphasize that it's operationalized in activity. It is the core of what it means to thrive and for us to be made whole as Black women. I fundamentally believe that. And these 5 principles are really principled action areas of practice. And so I really want you to think about, how are you embracing your barriers? How are you focusing on your strengths? How are you speaking for your life and choosing your guide and ritualizing reflection? And it really gets at this idea that it's not about only us as individual people, but us collectively, right? It's our relationship with ourself and that self in relation to the social world. So I'll end by saying thank you so much for having me. And I'm happy to continue the conversation.
Wow, thank you so much. Um, Powerful presentation. I've never thought about empower and what we're giving away, quote unquote, to empower someone, what we're losing, but we have it in us all along with me power. Awesome, awesome presentation. Just to give you some of the feedback. Um, have you Fancy was like asked the question, have you ever been using the word empower incorrectly? Absolutely. Tammy said embrace her barriers. Hers being she had said weight loss. Another barrier was procrastination. Another barrier was self-doubt. Um, and I don't remember what the other question is, but she said, I never give up to seek God. Okay, so the second one, to seek God, daily self-love mantras. Three, for number three, speak affirmations over myself in the mirror. Another person's number three, through food, infusing the two cultures together. For number four, someone said spiritual dad, people who oppose me, close friends. They also said, for five, they said vlog my life. Another person's number four was mentors of 25 years, spiritual leaders, objective friends. Another person's number four was daily meditation and updating my vision board yearly. So great. We have five principles of me power. One, embrace your barriers. Two, focus on your strengths. Three, speak for your life. Four, choose your guides. Five, ritualize your reflections. And so, Miss Dr. Lanisha Adams, tell us how we can follow you and if they want to continue the conversation to connect.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram or all social at edlinguist is the same. I put it in the chat at edlinguist. And then if you are subscribing, there's a free electronic copy of Me Power, and there's a special for if you want a signed paperback copy, which you order from my website. So I just want to share that with folks, and thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. So you can get a free electronic copy of our book, Me Power. But if you like me, go on and hop over on that website, claim.mepowernow.com, and get a special signed copy by using the code POD23, POD23. Enter the code for a discount as well as getting a a signed copy from Dr. Lanisha Adams. How y'all feeling out there? Y'all feeling good? Y'all feeling free? Feeling good? Feeling great? Yes. We're now moving on to Danny Parks. Danny Parks. I feel like Steve Harvey on Showtime at the Apollo. Coming to the stage. We have Danny Parks, life coach and mental health advocate. Danny is one of today's favorite mental health and mindfulness advocates. Her charismatic confidence, passion, and optimism, fueled by a personal experience with mental health crisis, made her a prime champion to advocate for those suffering in silence from mental health illnesses. She shares her story openly about her struggles with depression, suicide attempts, and the mental suffering she endured for over 10 years due to the incorrect treatment of her mental health illness, bipolar 1 disorder. Danny can be seen on the campuses such as Wittenberg University, speaking at various Fortune 500 companies, or being a guest on podcasts or radio shows such as the 1380 WAYOC, the Rashad Ritchie Morning Show, and the Mental Health Space. Danny will lead a workshop about mental health entitled Can I Be Me? Mindfulness and Self-Care Mini Workshop. You can follow Danny at I am underscore Danny Parks. And you Fancy, if you don't mind typing in her website in the chat, because sis, I can't read that. But thank you so much, Danny Parks, for your patience. And welcome to Black Women Made Whole. Excited to have you.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you look
Perfect.
amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a wonderful experience. Um, I was listening to Dr. Oh Lord, I forgot her name just that quick. My mind's everywhere. Let me see. Lanasia, Dr. Adams. And she pretty much did my whole presentation for me. So all I have to say is what she said. And I think that's about it. So I just want to once again thank you all for being here. This is amazing, Fran. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to go ahead and get right into this presentation. I want to talk to y'all today about mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that I have been practicing for a while now. It has kept me sane. It's kept me focused. It's kept me grounded as far as my goals are concerned. My goals professionally, personally, my parenting goals, like mindfulness has been everything for me. So, you know, as women, we often are placed on this pedestal that we have to be perfect. You know, we didn't ask for it, it was just given to us. We have to be perfect in what we do, how we act, how we dress, how we parent. One thing I noticed when I first had my child a while back ago was people expected me to already be a perfect mom. How many of y'all can relate to that? I've never had a child. You know, I've never given birth. So having this child and then with the expectation of having to be perfect in every way a mother can be perfect was just mind blowing to me because you're asking me to do something I've never done before. So we have these labels of perfection that society says we have to have. And even with our children, God bless their hearts, they have these expectations for us as well. We have to be their doctor. We have to be their therapist, their Uber driver, their chef. I mean, it just goes on and on with those little things. But, you know, like I said, God bless them. I love my baby to death. But out of all of that, the question remains like, listen, I just want to be me. Can I be me? Can I just be Danny? Can I just do what I do and be who I be? You know, be who God has created me to be, not what you feel like I should be. So if you haven't had a chance to download my self guide, go ahead and do that now or at your leisure. I'm going to touch on some things from there. Just in case you want to follow along just a little bit. So we're going to get into the first key that I wanted to give y'all when it comes to mindfulness. One thing that I always have to stress is that being perfect is impossible. And perfection, in my opinion, lives in reality. You know, we have to live our lives so grounded that we realize that being perfect means there's going to be some flaws in our life. Being perfect means that we're not always going to get things right, but we're striving to make those things right. One thing that I have learned over the years is that when I try to be perfect, when I try to live up to everyone's standard, and I try to set my bar, my personal bar, you know, extraordinarily high, I always end up feeling worse than what I started. So I started to, you know, be more realistic about my goals, be more realistic about where I am and how I feel about certain situations that I found myself in. One thing about the truth is that the truth doesn't change. It doesn't matter how far you try to run from it, how much you try to jump over it, how much you ignore it. When you come back to it, it's still going to be the same. So one of the things that I want to encourage you all to do is start being very transparent with yourself. Start looking at those things that you've been avoiding, because at the end of the day, sometimes those things that we don't like, that we're trying to avoid, sometimes the common denominator is us. We can't always pin our issues on other people. Sometimes we are the catalyst to some of those problems, but it causes us to look in the mirror. So being transparent with yourself, being transparent in order for you to work to get to the bottom, to get to the root of those issues so that you can start to heal properly. And that all falls under mindfulness. You have to be mindful of, why did this situation make you upset? Why did you act in the way that you did? And how can that be changed? Lady Tiffany said before, in my introduction, is that I dealt with depression, suicidal attempts, and bipolar disorder. One thing about my bipolar disorder is that I didn't know about it until last year of February 2022. I was diagnosed with it in 2007. So you can see how there was kind of like, oh my goodness, for 10 years, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was following doctor's orders. I was taking my medication, but I was always having to get different medications because something wasn't working. I always found myself just going in circles with the same exact emotions and not having no relief until one day, like I said, it's about being mindful of yourself. My thoughts started to go back to thoughts I had when I was in my young adult years, which was suicidal attempts. And I was like, okay, hold up. Danny, something's going on. And I had to be real with myself. I couldn't avoid it any longer. I couldn't just say, you know what, well, maybe I'm burnt out. I'm in denial. Maybe I'm burnt out. I have a background in psychology. So I kind of knew, but kind of really didn't, because I don't have a degree in that. So I went to the doctor and she told me, like, hey, you have bipolar disorder. And it was a bittersweet event, because okay, now there's a name to it. And now I can get the proper help for it. So it was one of those things that I was shocked. I was embarrassed. But I was still relieved, because now I can truly work on this. Now I don't have to struggle when it comes to mindfulness and always going through my mind. One of the things about mindfulness is that I've been doing it for so long, I can do it really quick. So when you first start, it's like, okay, how am I feeling about this situation? What just happened? Let me digest what just happened. How do I feel about this? Why do I feel like this? Are those emotions that you're feeling, are they realistic for the situation that you're currently in? I always say, always put a name to something, always name what you're going through. Because if you're in a situation and you say, oh man, that made me mad. But did it really make you mad? Are you really mad, or are you frustrated? Or did that worry you? So really articulating what you're feeling helps you to realize helps you to realize why you're reacting the way you're reacting. And so going through this for 10 years, I can do it quickly. Back in the day, before I was on this medication, and I always say, listen, if you are seeing any type of therapist, psychiatrist, and they put you on medication, do what they say, follow doctor's orders. But before I was on this medication, it was a struggle. It was a struggle when I would be up speaking. I'm also a minister. So when I'm out there preaching and I'm having all these thoughts in my head, it's like, okay, I need to quiet these things down. Danny, this person really isn't getting on your nerves. What you're thinking isn't realistic. So it comes into, casting those things down, casting all those imaginations down. Like, this isn't really what you're thinking, isn't reality, And so being mindful of yourself is a form of self-care. Also, yeah, like I said, the truth is going to set you free. The truth will never, ever, ever change. Another thing that I wanted to give y'all was what mindful is. So what mindful is just the focus and awareness of oneself in the moment, and acknowledging those things, accepting those thoughts and those feelings as they come. Sometimes we get into a situation where we cannot stop to digest what just happened. But when you get home, when you're in your alone time, go back through those things, reflect, revisit, and readjust on how you can react in a better way, in a way that can benefit you better. One, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes real quick. Okay, so one thing that I've realized going through this whole situation, and also just living in a society where we as Black women, we have a lot put on us all the time. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's at work, whether we're trying to get assistance for our medical help. We have been that mantle of being that strong Black woman has been placed on us, and it's on us unjustly, if I could say that. We have been taught to be more of a resistance, which means to ignore what's going on and just accept it, versus being resilient, being able to pivot, being able to overcome those obstacles and still carry on. So with mindfulness helps us to be more resilient in life. It helps us to make sure that we are focusing, that we are concentrating on what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing it, and doing it with our authentic selves. It's sometimes we feel, I don't know if some of y'all have heard about the superwoman syndrome. So we're out there doing great things. We are, tearing down barriers in different career fields. And I hear a lot of times from different women, I'm afraid of being found out. Have any of you felt like that? Like you're out there and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have earned that doctor title. You have earned that therapist title. You have earned that MED. You have earned it, yet you feel like, all right, I'm going to be found out. This is where mindfulness comes in at, because you can start to really understand, why do you feel the way you feel? How can you adjust this? And so, like I said, mindfulness is what helped get me through my situation. I want to ask y'all a question real quick. I want y'all to, in the chat, let me know, think about the person you know best. And I want you to write down type in 3 things about them that you know best about that person. And then I'll read a few of those comments here in a minute once they get going. So mindfulness, and why is it important? It's important because it's a form of self-care. It helps you to, just feel what you're going through. It helps you to recognize those things that don't line up with your purpose. It helps you to make sure that you're not I guess overreacting. Like I said, sometimes we don't really articulate ourselves in the way that we should, and so we can miss the mark on our emotions. So let me see here. Was looking at some of these chats. Okay, so how often should you practice mindfulness? You should practice it all the time. Remember that practice doesn't make perfect. Practice promotes progress. So this is one of the things that you will have to practice pretty much every single day. Whether you're at work or whether you're at home, I want to implore y'all to just really practice on being aware of what you're going through, especially today in this world. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. Today in this world, we are thrown a whole bunch of things from society, whether it's another injustice against brown or Black people, whether it's something against women. We have a whole thing going up in DC about women's and our rights. But one thing that I want to make sure is that you are taking that time out to make sure that you are recognizing what's really affecting you. One thing, I can give y'all a little story real quick. When I caught COVID a few years ago, of course, naturally you stop eating. You stop eating certain foods. And when I started to reintroduce those certain foods back into my system, I realized that this was what was making me sick. You know, outside of being sick with COVID, I was always feeling sluggish. I always had headaches. I'm a type of person, don't judge me, y'all. I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts every single day. And I used to get my coffee. I used to get my one donut. But I realized once I started putting those things back into my body, this is what was making me sick. And sometimes we find ourselves adjusting and being comfortable in a toxic situation, and our body just adjusts to it. That's what the human body does. It just adjusts. If you put so much into it every single day without really checking it, your body will adjust, and then you'll experience the consequences of it and not really know what's going on. So that's where mindfulness comes in. It's about recognizing what is going on, what you're pulling in from the outside, and letting allowing into your mind, allowing into your body. So being mindful of those things will help you to just live a better life. Like I said, with me, I couldn't believe what the doctor was telling me when she told me I had bipolar disorder. um, and I realized that this entire time it was because the only way I was able to thrive, the only way I was able to do what I do was because I was being mindful. I was making sure I was taking that time out to be mindful and make sure that my mind, my thoughts, and my behavior, all of it lined up so that I can still operate in my purpose. So that is about it for y'all. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome presentation. Thank you so much, Danny, for your patience throughout the day and for bringing such valuable information on being mindful and excellent, excellent tips. Fancy said, practice doesn't make perfect, practice promotes progress. So, y'all, let's practice mindfulness daily. Please share how they can connect with you, Danny, follow you, and if they need your services and want to continue the conversation.
Yes, if you are on any type of social media platform, you can find me at I am Danny Parks. I am underscore Danny Parks on all platforms. And also my website is www.iamdannyparks.com.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you again, Queen. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing some valuable information to help us be made whole. Listen, the time is winding up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Shout out to our Facebook Live and our virtual um, attendees. Let us know how you're feeling out here. Hashtag BMWM is where we go, as what we're using tonight. Hashtag swag her. And just let us know how you're feeling. What good points have come out to you today that you can use moving forward. Now we're going to go to the amazing Lydia Rivera. Rivera. Lydia is an author and confidence coach. Lydia Rivera is a proud vitiligo advocate, retired, decorated Navy sailor, award-winning filmmaker, and confidence coach. She was diagnosed as an infant with vitiligo, causing her to face childhood bullying and low self-esteem, which later inspired her passion for storytelling and raising awareness about the skin disorder. She is a graduate of Excelsior University, where she earned her Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Visit her online at lydiacrivera.com, as well as on Instagram at Lydia, Lydy .c.Rivera. She's going to be speaking with us tonight on self-love. Welcome to the stage, Lydia C. Rivera. Welcome, Queen.
Hello, hello, and thank you so much for having me.
Hey, beautiful. You fly, you fly, girl.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much for having me on here. I first want to just say, oh my God, I came here thinking I was going to be speaking only. And here I am taking notes myself because these women that have presented today have truly blessed me in a way that I wasn't even expecting to be blessed. So thank you to all of the presenters, all the speakers. Thank you to Francesca for having me on here as well. So I am going to be presenting or speaking on a topic that I hold so dear. I truly, truly love this topic, self-love. It's a big thing for me. It took me a long time to really understand what it meant or even how to go about it, how to give this love to myself, because it was a point in time where I didn't feel worthy of it. It was a point in time where I wasn't receiving it, not just from myself, but I wasn't receiving love that I desired and wanted from other people. And it's a big thing for me talking about self-love. And so what I want to do before I start running my mouth, and I promise I'm only going to use my 10 minutes, but before I start speaking, I wanted to share my screen and show you all a video. It's a trailer that I made, and it's entitled Beauty Marks. And it's just a little bit of what I experienced as a child, as a teen, as an adult, before getting to this place of liberation or, learning to love who I truly am. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope. Oh no, did y'all not hear it? Oh no. Okay, so I'm so sorry. I really thought that you all were able to hear. I'm so sorry that there was no sound to the video. Oh my goodness. Wow. So if you all get a chance to go back and watch it. Thank you so much. If you could get a chance to go and watch it, I'm telling you, it's so powerful. It is a story about my life story, things that I went through as a child who was born with a skin condition known as vitiligo. If you don't know what vitiligo is, it's a rare skin condition to where the melanocytes that make the pigment in our skin, it's lost or it's damaged. Well, I was born without pigment in a portion of my skin. So being born different, I faced some challenging moments in my life. And one of those were really just going through a time of self-hate. Um, when I experienced bullying, just being mistreated, abuse of all forms that you can even think of, because I was born different. And because of that, it caused me to really dislike the person that I was. I really disliked who I was. I didn't like the person that, honestly, God made me. I asked that question. I'm sure a lot of us, we ask that question, why me? Why me? Why me? And I asked that question so many times throughout my entire life. Why me? Why did I have to be different? Why did I have to have this skin condition? And because I had this skin condition and because I was going through the things that I was going through, it really hardened the soft woman that I truly was. I was always so kind and I was always so sweet, trying to get everybody to like me and to just be my friend. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And in fact, because I was trying so hard to get people to love me and like me so much, I began to hurt myself. I began to hurt myself in ways that I didn't deserve. Right? I attempted my first suicide attempt was at the age of 12 years old. I tried to commit suicide twice, and I'm a survivor of suicide. And all of this started while I was a child. I'd gone through a lot of abuse because I had this skin condition. And what I've learned is that when people don't know about something, they don't know to go about it, how to treat you. Because if they don't know, they just don't know. And so I have a couple of notes that I had wrote down because the Holy Spirit, he really gave me some things to share with you. And I want to make sure I give it exactly how he gave it to me. Because if whether you have vitiligo or you have some type of insecurity or something that you have lived with for a long time and you still have yet to really embrace that something about you, I want us all to walk away from this knowing that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And God made no mistakes when he made you, when he made me, when he made any woman on this live right now. He did not make any mistakes. He was very intentional, okay? Because the God that created us is very intentional and he was very meticulous with how he wove us all together. So I want you to just really ask yourself, what is self-love? What really is self-love, because if it was such an easy definition to really to say aloud, right, or to really think of, we'd all be giving ourselves real true self-love. And even if you've reached your place right now in your life where you're giving yourself the true self-love that you desire and deserve, if you think back on times where you weren't loving yourself the right way, right, when you were talking down on yourself, or you were beating yourself up because you didn't look a certain way or because someone told you you weren't enough, you really ask yourself, really, what is self-love? Like, what does it mean to you? Like, if you would like to drop it in the chat, because I want to know some of you all's definition of self-love. And so while I'm looking up these definitions and synonyms of self-love, a couple of words come up when I'm looking it up on Google. And I'm looking at these words like, what? Hold up. Some words are narcissistic, self-absorbed, pompous, egotism, vanity, conceit, pride, and even big head popped up. And I don't have a big head, y'all. I got a small head. So I'm trying to figure out, how in the world can you equal can self-love be equivalent to having a big head? I just love me. So I had to ask myself, is this really what people think about when a person truly begins to love themselves? So all I could think about is the little girl that you see in that video who was once me, the little girl who was bullied and abused and mistreated for being born different. I think about being at a low point in my life, hating every single thing about me, yet loving everyone else around me, doing whatever it took to make people love me, and even the ones that disregarded my own worth. At that time, I was miserable. I was very suicidal. I was suffering mentally and emotionally, and I was suffering physically in silence. And it wasn't until I realized what God was trying to tell me about me when He told me that I was made in His image and I was made fearfully and wonderfully. See, I was able to catch a glimpse of myself through God's eyes. So it is really impossible to is it really impossible to love ourselves just as we love other people around us, our family, our friends? So in my opinion, I look at self-love as an expression of gratitude towards God and just thanking Him for creating such phenomenal beings, phenomenal women that we are. I look at self-love as being thankful for life, as a way of saying, God, you really did that when you made me, because that's how I look at self-love. I look at it as loving you exactly how God created you and exactly how He sees you. So if you ever have someone telling you, asking you questions like, oh, you're too much, you're too skinny, you're too big, or you're too small, or you're too loud, you're too quiet, you're too soft, you're too strong, or you may even hear things like, you're not enough. What I've learned is that they're just too negative for me. They're just too negative for me to tell me or you, or if you've ever heard this, that you're too anything. In all actuality, if you in all actuality, if you were to round out all of your edges to look like everyone else, then you lose your edge. You lose who you really are. You lose who God made you to be. And that's kind of boring, being like everyone else around you. We're all the same. I enjoy going to the party, but most importantly, I enjoy being the confetti at the party. I enjoy being able to stand out. So seriously, I want you to love yourselves, mama, because it's only one life. It's only one you. And you have got to love you the way you want to be loved. Never change who you are for the sake of other people's validation or for the sake of other people's comfortability. People may see your confidence as being too much, but that's okay. That's fine. Just don't lose who you are trying to find validation with someone else. Be you always. Love yourself unconditionally. Your confidence, it may make someone else uncomfortable, but be comfortable with yourself anyways. There's just so much liberation in loving who you truly are, rather than forcing yourself to love the person that the society and others want you to be. It takes too much energy trying to be someone you're really not, and let alone trying to really love someone you're not. Like, you don't even know who that is. So be yourself. Like, get to know who you truly are and love that person. See, because no one is perfect. Not one of us, not any one of us on here is perfect. Okay. And in fact, to truly love who you are, you can't avoid and you can't hate the experiences that help to shape you. So we have only one life to live. And despite our differences or our experiences or the mistakes or even our current situations, we get to choose our now. We get to choose to take care of us now. We get to choose to embrace our uniqueness now. We get to choose to love ourselves wholeheartedly now. We get to choose to be our authentic selves now. We get to choose our now. So when it comes down to self-love is for everyone. Every woman watching this right now, self-love is for you. See, to love self is the practice. It's the practice that you need to love others. To love yourself shows you how to best love others. And most importantly, to love yourself shows others how to love you back. Self-love is a necessity. To love yourself, it's a choice. Self-love is liberation. It's a form of self-care. It's not selfish, but it's rather a commitment to yourself to love and to honor and to accept and cherish yourself, the woman that you are, despite flaws or seemingly having these weaknesses that we say we have, and despite the opinions of other people. Self-love, it isn't found in a place, it's not found in a person or in a thing, but it's discovered by you from within. So choose you, choose to be free, free from guilt, free from shame, free from hurt, free from pain, free from self-hate. Just be free to be yourself, free to love yourself, free to love who you are, just how God created you, free to most importantly love whose you are. So how powerful is self-love really? Like me loving myself, how powerful is it? You see, self-love is a powerful way of giving ourselves affection, right? We deserve a powerful, real love because we are powerful, beautiful, real women. And when we show this self-love to ourselves, we begin to appreciate who we authentically and truly are, where we've come from, and where we're going. It's so important that we as women, as mothers, as wives, as business owners, as boss ladies, and all that good stuff, it's important that we take time to give ourselves true self-love. Even in our busy lives. And I get it, we're working and we're in school and we're being mamas and good wives and we have family and life in general. They pull us in all these different directions. And at times, it may even require us to kind of put certain things on the back burner. But listen to me, no ma'am. No ma'am. Do not put you on the back burner. Do not put you on the back burner. Focus on you. Reflect on the woman that you are. Reflect on your growth. Reflect on where you are today, not where you used to be. Okay? Reflect on the growth and the woman you are, where you are right now. Love that woman. Okay? That woman right there definitely deserves to be loved. So talk to her nice, okay? Y'all better talk to yourselves nicely. Love yourselves right. Love yourselves properly. And remember, what you speak and what you think about yourself will ultimately determine how you act towards you and furthermore, how you treat yourself. And some people may not understand how or even why you have such a deep love for yourself. But if only they knew all that you've had to go through, baby, and all that you had to grow through, they'd be falling in love with you too, okay? Spend time with you, loving on yourself. Spend much needed time to love and adore and appreciate the woman that you are and who you're becoming. Many may not understand you when you start replacing negativity, drama, toxic relationships, unhealthy friendships for peace and a sound mind and true happiness and positivity, good energy and some great vibes, okay? True love and pure joy. And that's okay if they don't understand. You keep on loving you. You deserve that love. You deserve peace. So never allow anyone or anything to rob you of what you rightfully deserve. Never feel bad for finally giving yourself genuine love and letting go of everything that does not serve you. Whew. If it don't serve you with love, let it go. Don't feel bad for doing it. Self-love does not mean you have to be lonely or feel lonely. It just proves that you're now confident enough and able to love you all by yourself because you now have finally found your self-worth and you know that you're deserving of true love. Ask yourself, Truly, ask yourself, do you really like the woman that you are? Do you love who you truly are from the inside out? And are you happy with that woman when it's just you by yourself? I encourage you all to just take time out of your busy life with family and friends and work and all of this, and not only tell yourself, but show yourself true, pure love for just the woman that you are, for simply being the woman that conquered her fears, the woman that released people and things that weren't serving her so she could step out with confidence and walk in her purpose. The woman that started living and loving the life that she desired. You got to pat yourself on the back, Queen, because you have gained a strength, a beautiful strength, to release everything unclean from your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health, and for loving yourself enough to create your own narrative in your own life. One of the greatest things that you'll ever do in life for your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being is to stop seeking validation from other people and to start loving yourself, because you deserve to be treated with love, with respect, and with dignity. So I want to encourage you to look inside the woman that you are today. Like really, really look inside, look within you and ask yourself, am I loving me how I really want to be loved? Am I loving me the right way? Am I loving me properly? Am I talking to myself with respect? And am I demanding the same respect from others? Am I showing myself just how worthy and valuable I am every single day? Do I give myself grace like I give to others? If you honestly can admit to yourself, not to me or anyone else on here, but to yourself, if you can honestly admit to yourself that you can do a little bit better, loving you just a little bit more, then I want you to do that. Starting today and every day going forward, just love yourself a little bit more. Treat you how you want to be treated. Okay, I know it's treat others how you want to be treated, but I need you to treat you how you want to be treated. Love you how you want to be loved. And that love that you desire, it starts in here. It starts with you. And why does it start with you inside? Because for one, God lives within us. And God, if God is love, you're experiencing that love every single day. So if you really want to experience true love, seek within you, for God is within you and God is love. And he wants you to experience that love. See, this woman right here, I love this woman. It took me a long time. I'll be 37 years old. And in 2018 was the moment that I actually started to love this woman. In 2018, I actually started to look at who God made me to be. I hid behind makeup for years, literally and figuratively, covering up my vitiligo so no one knew that I had this condition. I joined the military in 2009 and I stopped covering in 2018. So people that I was serving in the military with didn't even know I had this skin condition. That's just how much I didn't appreciate, accept, and love this woman that I am. But here I am today, after all of the trials, after all of the heartache, after the shame and guilt has been put away and buried for good. I look at this woman today, and I know God was looking at me like I was waiting on you at the door to show up. And I look at this woman today like, wow, I'm so glad I showed up. I'm so glad I showed up as myself, as this authentic me. Because before I was out here making film, and before I was a published author signing my first deal with HarperCollins, before I was out here coaching women and helping them find and discover their true self-worth and confidence within, before I was doing this, I was in a dark place, in a dark hole. I was not walking in purpose because I didn't feel I had purpose. I didn't love this woman that you see today. The woman that you see today smiles on the outside and on the inside. The woman back then only smiled on the outside, so people didn't see the hurt on the inside. They didn't see how much I hated myself. They didn't see how much I was burying all the guilt and shame. The things that happened to me were done to me, the abuse, the mistreatment that I experienced, all because I was born different. So I love this woman today. I love this woman today. I'm a survivor. I'm a conqueror. I love this woman. I love my differences. The skin I'm in, I love that too. Took me a long time, but I love this too. See, we were all born to stand out. We were not born to fit in. We weren't born to fit in. We weren't born to fit inside of a box. We weren't even born to really step outside the box. We were born to create our own box. So you create your own box and you enjoy your own box. Enjoy you. You take back the narrative of your own story, of your own life. God created you wonderfully and fearfully. Love that woman, not the woman that this faulty society keeps on telling us that we should be, or how we should look, or how we should walk and talk. Love you for you. Because the woman you are today, it's a woman on here right now. It's a woman outside in the world. It's a woman that's connected to your voice that needs to meet a woman like you. And I know this for sure because the moment I began to love, truly love this woman that I am today, the moment that I did that, everything that I named to you, from having book deals and all of those things, they came to me. This ain't a boast about me. It's a boast about what God can do. It's a boast about what God can do when you actually love who he made you to be. When you actually truly love who you are, just the way you are. And most importantly, you love whose you are. So as always, remember to love yourself, love others. I love you, girl, but God loves you more. Thank you.
Awesome presentation. Thank you so much for sharing your story, transparency, and definitely speaking life to us about loving who we are, being fearfully and wonderfully made. We do have the video in our chat to follow back on the YouTube, but let us know where we can follow you and support you in your journey as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you all can follow me on Instagram at lydia.c.rivera. I'm also on Facebook, Lydia C. Rivera. You can also check out my website, lydiacrivera.com. Everything just Lydia C. Rivera. See, I just love me. lydiacrivera.com. So yeah, that's how you can follow me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. As we say in church, has not our hearts burned within? Hallelujah. Listen, I'm excited about tonight and all that has been shared. We've learned so much about self love, about mindfulness. We've also heard um, about mental health, yoga, how to center ourselves and get back to our energy, as well as from Emet Dream. Tonight's theme is Black Women Made Whole, sponsored by Swagger, getting back to our wholeness. And what I've learned as a Black woman who has been broken is we live our life and we continue to live, and life happens to us. And being that strong Black woman, we continue to live and to live and to live. Save face, be strong, take a licking, and keep on ticking. And we may be getting promoted. We may be married. We may be doing things with our children. We've overcome grief, such as our crystal communicated with us. We're doing so much and we're living, we're paying bills, we're waking up, we're going to bed, we're going to church. We're doing all of the things living, but we can't trace back to the fact that we are broken. There are times that we cry. There are times that we really just don't want to do anything. And so I'm going to share with you from my point of view, from a familiar package, because I'm bringing the spiritual piece. So we've had it a lot from the Word of God. It's Matthew chapter 9, and I'm going to read from verses 19 through 22. 19 through 22. And Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be made whole. Black woman, be made whole. But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith had made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. I don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to fill my full 10 minutes because I believe the word itself and all that has been spoken tonight has already hit us in our spirit and what we need to do. First point I want to share is how long she had been broken. In this particular case, this is 12 years. But you don't have to put in the chat. I just want you to think about how long have you been broken in some area, whether it was grief, self love, or any of the array of things we talked about tonight, just within you. What made you think you wasn't, what are not whole? What broke you? What circumstance? What situation? What life trauma? What broke you? When did it happen? Number two, on verse 21, Matthew 9, verse 21, she said within herself, if I may touch his garment, I shall be made whole. She said within herself, what are you saying to yourself? If the Bible is saying I am fearfully and wonderfully made, as Lady Lydia C. Rivera just shared with us, why are you saying anything else differently? A lot of our self-talk is causing us to stay in a place that we should no longer be. What are you saying to yourself? We talked about mental health. What thought processes, what are you looking at the glasses half full or half empty? Why do you see things negatively? Self-talk, self-defeat. In the same sentence, she said to herself, if I might touch, what circumstances? If I wouldn't have gotten a divorce, if I wouldn't have had my child in high school, I'm talking about me. If I wouldn't have been a teenage mother, if I would have went to college, if I wouldn't have gotten fired, if I could have kept the job, if I would have saved money, what circumstances, what situations are you putting excuse on your wholeness that's stopping you? If I might touch the hem of his garment, who are you making responsible for your wholeness? If my husband would just love me, if I could get the promotion, whatever the case may be, who are you making responsible for your wholeness? She touched him. But Jesus in return said, your faith made you whole. Our belief system, there's things that have already, there's victories we've already won. All you have to do is believe that you're whole. And you're saying it's easier said than done. Absolutely it is. Because the enemy is going to and fro seeking whom he may devour. And he's always making circumstances louder than what they really are. So, number one, what are you saying to yourself? Change your language. We talked about meditation and speaking quality affirmations. She said to herself, if what? Who are you making responsible for your wholeness? Me power. She taught us me power. Who are you empowering to make you whole? Your boss, your husband, your spouse, your boo thing, children, circle, whatever. Take your power back tonight. But she also said, if I may touch the hem of his garment. We're not in the Old Testament. We have the Holy Spirit present with us now. I want to say to you that you can still touch him. Who am I talking about? Jesus. You can still touch God. You can still touch your creator. Hebrews 4:15-16 says, for we have not a high priest, which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace. Tonight, we've had all of these speakers that have shared information, shared their testimony, and some of it is spoken loudly to us. But before we leave this line, I want you to take a moment and touch him. Tell him how you feel. He already knows. Some of us have taken things on our shoulders that we were not built to bear. We were not created to bear. We're women. And yes, we are strong, Black, powerful women. I thank God for that strength and those characteristics. But sometimes we carry that in an inaccurate capacity. We don't have to be as strong when we have a Savior that's willing to take it all. I don't know what you're carrying today. I don't know what forgiveness, what trauma, or what caused you to join us on Facebook Live or fill this out and be a part of this conversation tonight. I do know that nothing happens by happenstance. This conversation was for you. So I invite you to touch him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him where you hurt. Release it. Cry. Woman of God, Cynthia said, scream and tell the devil, not today, devil. Because I'm going to touch him. And you touch him as often as you need to touch him. Because he's a high priest. And if you just take it off your shoulders and give it to him, touch him. Let him know. He already knows how you feel. But part of us can't be whole because we keep it. We carry it. And we act as if we are. But we're crying at night. It looks okay. We got to get our contents out. We got to do our social media. We got to, we got to do everything that we got to do. Trust me. I know. But you got to take some time and touch him. And release it. And take the ifs from everybody else. And even take it off yourself. And put it on him. He's waiting for you today, right now. Your private moment. I know you feel him. You can be made whole. You already are whole. You received all of the tools. Take them. Walk them out from this point forward. And I decree and declare by the words of our Jesus, daughter, Black woman, be of good comfort, of good cheer. Your faith has made you whole. from this hour, from this moment, March 15th, 2023, if you receive it, you are whole. In Jesus' name. Fancy.
Thank you, Lady Tiffany and Nicole. So, I just have to say, I always say I just plant the seed and I let everybody just take it and grow however, do whatever they're gonna do with it. But I must say, with each speaker, there has been something that I've taken away, something that touched me personally. But Lady Tiffany Nicole, like I remember I said it initially in the beginning, I didn't know how, Black women made whole just kind of came to me in spirit, like the phrase came to me, and I didn't know where it came from exactly, So to hear what you just said, I'm just kind of like flabbergasted. Like that just blew me away because to me, that was like a full circle moment. Who knew? Even though I'd heard that story before, I never thought about it. I wasn't thinking about it when that came to me, but it just makes so much sense, and I feel like wow, this has just been a very emotional night for me. I've been working the controls, but I said I'm going to go back and watch all of this again. I encourage you all to watch all of it again as well. And we will be doing something, sending out the replay as well as the other materials that came along with it. So, Lady Tiffany Nicole, I don't want to hold you up any longer, but thank you for being such a great MC. I really appreciate you just entertaining us, keeping everybody the flow and all of that. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead on and take you off the stage so you can go do whatever you had planned for this evening.
Love y'all.
But
God bless. It was a pleasure to meet each of you. Please connect Lady Tiffany Nicole, CEO, Instagram. And last but not least, y'all, we own a radio station, Power Influence Radio. Please download the radio station or visit www.powerinfluenceradio.com so that we can keep you with your uplifting music while you're walking out your wholeness from this day forward. Pleasure to meet you all. God bless. Touch them. That's all I got for you. Touch them. God bless.
okay, sorry, look, I'm getting distracted. I'm trying to take her off the stage, and at the same time, I was trying to find her tags so I can make certain I drop those in the chat for you all to follow her and Power Influence Radio as well online. Don't forget to download the Power Influence Radio app. You can do so in the Google Play Store, or you can listen to the app online. And I wanted to take a minute before we close out, guys. I know we've gone over time. I when I planned for this, I thought we could do 3 hours and just kind of hit it and go. But I felt like everyone had something on their heart that they felt called to say. And I wanted to make certain that they got whatever message out that they, came here tonight to share. So I tried to give everyone an adequate amount of time. But I wanted to take a quick minute. If you're a vendor, can you possibly raise your hand? I want to try to bring the vendors up to just kind of share a little bit about their business right quick. Just I'm giving everybody 1 minute, but I'm also trying to make certain that the program is going to allow us to do it. Okay, Sharice, Talina Sky, see your hand raised. Let me see if I can bring you on stage. Okay, LaDonna, I have you up next, and then I have Miss Patricia. Sharice, can you turn your camera on? There we go. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you offer?
Hi, my name is Sharice Swain Sky Bracy, and I have a wonderful program called Reading Reaps Rewards. It started off as a literacy program where we give books to children, but now it evolved into a business. I teach children in all areas. My mission is to treat the whole child from cognitive, social, emotional development and physical development. I do a traveling program when I can't do virtual, I do in person. I visit a lot of centers, and right now I'm selling our beautiful T-shirt, Reading Reaps Rewards. Some of the proceeds go to help buy books for children who are in need and who really need to have quality story time books. And you can
thank you, Sharice.
You're welcome.
Oh, and you were about to say we can visit your website at where, or where can they visit?
www.readingreapsrewards.org, and I'm also on Instagram at Reading Reaps Rewards. Instagram.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, so guys, follow Reading Rewards on Instagram and also check out our website at readingrewards.com. I hate I didn't have these already in the chat, but I'll try to go back through tomorrow and put everyone's links on Facebook so you all that are watching on Facebook can find them there, or if you're in the lounge now and just can find it there. But thank you so much, Sharice, for being one of our vendors
You're
this
welcome.
evening.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm now gonna bring up wait.
Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Yep. I'm sorry, y'all. You're welcome, Sharice. My apologies. I'm still getting used to working these controls. But we are gonna be doing about 5 events this year, and by the next ones, I'm gonna have this better down pat. So I have LaDonna Marie up next. Hey LaDonna.
Hey, Francesca. Hey, everybody. So, I am international multi-award winning author LaDonna Marie, and I assist women and girls to identify areas of self limited thinking and also self sabotage, and to help them to overcome their obstacles by promoting emotional wellness. And the way that I do that is by through my books. I am a 26-year survivor of attempting suicide. So tonight was everything for me because I'm a big mental health advocate, believing in self love, encouragement, healing. And so I do that by my ministry, which is books. I'm an author of 13 self published books. And I have 5 poetry books, 2 devotionals, 2 workbooks, a children's books, teen books, and also my latest, which is the Unlocking Gratitude Greatness Gratitude Journal, where you can write about your day. You can write about the things that concern you. You can reflect, as we were talking about, in some of the other areas. I also have t-shirts. I do coaching. I help people to write and produce their books. I'm a publisher as well. But mental health is a big part of my ministry and my books. And I also have my other book. I'm just going to talk about 2, which is the memoir of my life. It's called The Journey, the Path, the Way I See It. I'm also a pastor, been called since the age of 14 in ministry. But God wanted me to share with others how He pulled me out and how I go back to help and pull others out. My website is www.ladonnamarie.org. You can go over to my shop page. If you want to ask a question, leave a message, you can go to my contact page and I'll feel free to get back in contact with you.
Thank you so much, LaDonna. Thank you so much for being a vendor, guys. You all can check her out. And again, like I said, I will drop the links tomorrow on the Facebook page. So thank you, LaDonna. I'm going to go ahead on and bring up Miss Patricia Caldwell or Miss Patty. I be feeling funny calling you Miss Patty. I don't know why. It makes me think of all the Queen's men. I'm not going to even talk about that.
No, that's fine.
Okay, there we go. I was about to say, can you turn your camera?
I forgot to turn
so
on my video. Hi, just want to say thank you for having me. I had a blast. I learned so much, and it just fed my soul. My name is Patty Corwood. I am the owner and founder of True Serenity Tea. It's a monthly tea subscription box company that offers and delivers gourmet loose leaf teas from around the world, helping many people to connect and with drinking tea. So we offer, like I said, a monthly subscription. We offer gift boxes. We also offer individualized tea. We have all sorts of tea from around the world, which is award-winning teas like oolong tea, white tea, black tea, Peru tea, and so forth. You can visit my site at www.trueserenitytea.com. Come visit the site, ask me questions. I love to hear from you. If you have like a special blend that you need, just let me know. Here's my box. It's a beautiful box, and every month my subscribers get one of these boxes, and they get a lot of surprise. Every month we have like a different theme. So this month will be tea for green. So come to the site. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, I'm trying to be a tea person. I'm still learning, so I like to test out teas. So I will definitely be placing my order
And also, guys, just if you have clients, like she said, there are the gift sets. So, the gift box. So that's another option, because I'm always trying to make sure that for my gifts that they're Black owned. I just believe in supporting us. So yeah. So guys, do check out Miss Patty, and again, I will be dropping her link in the comments on the Facebook page tomorrow. And I think that is all the vendors that were still in the event. So again, I thank everyone so much for just staying on with us throughout the time, because I know we went over, but again, I felt like everything that was said was truly needed. Someone needed it, and I hope that you all take away a lot from this event. We love to hear your feedback and your comments. You can let us know on Facebook, or you can shoot us an email and just tell us what you think. I do apologize about not being able to play the video, but I didn't want to hold you all up any longer. However, I will be sending a video over, as well as some of the links, like for Dr. Lanisha's book and for Danny Park's workbook. I'm going to send all of that over in an email for those who register for the event, so you all can have everything all together, as well as Lydia's video, so you all can watch that with the audio as well. So thank you all again. Please do check out our website at Swagger. You all have a great evening.